Veterans Day.
What would be your ultimate zombie gun?
Wait, there's Mexicans hiding in the water?
How you doing? Hi there. I'm good.
I want to know what race you are. I want to call you a slur.
Whatever you're at in this video, just know that there's 20 minutes of missing redacted footage. We legally cannot show you.
This is the best podcast I've ever been on, man.
Oh, Veterans Day.
Oh, man. So good.
What? Holy crap. First off, this is hands down one of the best communities anyone could ask for. We have already raised $40,000 to donate. We're going to hit 200,000. I truly believe we're going to hit 200,000. So that is clap. That is for all you out there, you amazing humans. Just to reiterate, 100% of profit made on these, all of it is going back to these nonprofits. And everything else on our store, a percentage is also going towards those nonprofits. We're going to change so many freaking lives, and I'm so freaking stoked. You all are amazing. Thank you so damn much for everything you do. All of you out there, from Patreon to Reddit to YouTube. This community as a whole is amazing, and we are truly blessed to have you all part of it. Also this week, we are going on tour, so go check out tickets if you haven't. Actually, San Diego might be the only one with like very limited tickets left, so go purchase them if you want to come hang out. Everyone else, thank you so freaking much. We are so excited to meet each and every one of you. Can't wait for this tour to start. Cheers, everyone. Double salute. Love you. Ready?
3, 2, 1.
Oof, it's all over me.
I shook it. Oh, mine didn't even crack all the way. Hold on. I got it. There we go.
Oh, that scares me. I'm like,
I'm so wet right now.
I'm like, no, please don't.
I need a tourniquet.
Soaked.
Cody?
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Unsubscribed Podcast. I'm joined today by Eli Doubletap, habitual line crosser, Chris Cappy with Task and Purpose, Brandon Herrera, and myself, Donut Operator. Thank you for tuning in.
What's up, bitches? Happy Veterans Day.
Is this the
America.
Veterans Day episode?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's awesome.
Oh.
Happy Veterans Day.
I'm glad that we're all veterans here.
Yeah,
Fuck
everybody.
everyone.
I can't
served
believe
their
every
country.
single one of us.
Some more decorated than others.
You just got a Purple Heart. Shut the f up. He's got 2 of them. A Medal of Honor. Like,
A double. Brandon's like, I wasn't supposed to be on this episode. I wasn't supposed to be on this episode.
We all serve in different ways.
How did you fucking convince me to go on 2 of these in a row? Like, this is a trap door. I wasn't
Surprise,
told.
bitch, it's Veterans Day. No, no.
Oh, who was that? It was Andy Stumpf, I think.
Oh, yes. Who
Yeah.
was arguing?
Yeah, it was on Twitter. Somebody was just like, "Oh, we should have double Purple Heart recipient Brandon Herrera on the podcast." Blah blah blah, and he just replies, dead serious, "What the f is a double Purple Heart recipient?" And I'm like, guys, this is going too far. You have jumped the shark, and this is now becoming a problem.
so, what did the last AI say you had? It said you had 2 Purple Hearts.
I don't know, man.
I think I saw a Legion of Merit in there as well.
I think it probably is best at this point to just double down on it. And
Just go
own
for
it.
it.
Just actually steal valor?
Yes, just take all of the valor.
The fucking AI picture?
Oh, yeah, dude. ChatGTP, when it makes images of him.
One of these days, you'll know how to say GPT.
GPT.
You do it a different way every time. It's one of my favorite bits.
PGT? Dude, ChatGPT? TTT?
Dyslexia is a motherfucker.
It gives him dog tags no matter what.
It's
like
awesome. I love it so much.
I never even wore dog tags. That's how you know it's fake. Because mine were in my boot.
Oh no! See,
Because if you get blown, that's
they want to know whose leg belongs to.
yep.
It's actually true.
We do ours on the
baby.
belt loop into the back pocket because if they get caught in any of the moving parts on the system, it'll like, and you're dead. It'll pull you in.
Yeah.
That was, well, funny you say that because that was one of my favorite parts of, I think when Trump dropped the first Moab there in Afghanistan, that was what they said is that, like, judging off the pieces we found, it was approximately 126 people.
I love
like,
it.
Do what?
There's a lot of paste.
Dude.
It's like we found 87 legs, 42 arms. Like, what the fuck?
What does Nick say? Like the U.S. is the best at bad guy to baloney medicine or something like that?
I mean, that makes
We
sense.
called it. I helped call in an airstrike once, and the 30 mic from the AH-64 just turns them into
It's a
pieces.
beautiful experience.
And then one of the squads had to go out and pick those people up, and that's probably how that kind of number gets determined. They're like, we got this many legs.
We identified a dude by cutting his hand off, putting him in the hide system.
Happy Veterans Day.
Hey.
I found 76,000 pounds of bad guy. Based on that number.
You're measuring them in poundage? What, but how many of them?
Divided by 85 pounds a piece.
Depends on how much they weigh. We'll do an average. This is fuck. Yeah, it's Veterans Day, so we all get a. This is the big one we've put together. Should be everyone's already. Thank you for buying so many T-shirts. Holy shit, we got those numbers just as I was in the bathroom. Y'all are kicking ass and taking names
Already?
Yeah.
Oh, we just announced that like today.
Yeah, like a couple
yeah.
hours ago.
So I think we raised like $110,000 for autism charity.
I did see that
we
one. That's fucking amazing.
I would love to, if we can.
Smash that.
A good goal would be to double that. I would love to see us do that because we're working with some great veteran charities this month too.
Dude, I'm so excited. And just all across the board, you have all these amazing stories, and then all the individuals that are coming, like even you guys just coming.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you.
I was like, phrasing.
I am bringing my share of autism to this, so and I mean that.
What flavor of autism does everyone here have?
The retarded.
I'm every video is about the military for some reason. I cannot figure out why.
Military-tism, missile-tism, gun-tism.
Policeism.
Policeism? I was like,
Brutality.
Some might
That's
call
called
that
a kink.
I played that level of Quake.
fuck.
I have the ism, guys. Autism? No, racism. It's like, no, Cody, no.
I don't know why everyone fucks it up.
If there's an ism, we've been called it.
You do this, I do this.
Those videos
Randy just
slap.
slowly lowers out of frame. He's like, oh, I'm sharing Cody's frame.
How you doing, Chris?
Over on that side. It's like, uh-oh. Oh, shit, yeah, we can talk about that. Fucking fuck. Well, that was, yeah. What? Fucking you guys.
Yeah.
Both of you, shut the fuck up and just let me roll with
Okay.
it. Both on paper box now. These are the new content creators for this amazing adventure that we are slowly figuring out as we go. 700 videos.
Holy shit.
No,
job.
oh my God.
Doctor?
Doctor.
Well,
It's kind of like the new Avengers where like nobody cares, but like everybody remembers
It's all the
old
Avengers that show up
you
with
know?
like special education instead of powers.
Yes. Watch out.
We're good at it. No, it is.
We
it
are
is-
weaponized.
Can I just say one thing? It is having a streaming service like where we have like, Task and Purpose coming aboard, Habitual Line Crosser. Now we're in this space where, trust us, we did not envision any of that this fast, and now we're here.
Legitimately honored to have people like Task and Purpose and Eli on.
I was waiting for it. I was like, is he gonna? Oh, okay, yeah, I'm done. Well played. Well played.
Had to. Sorry,
Yeah,
bro.
of course. Of course.
Dude, it's wild to be there, especially how fast this community has.
I just, for me, it's a privilege to be with you guys, on that platform, and I get it's a good feeling because I get a little bit wider of a left or right limit that I can be as a creator.
Yeah.
On that because of the subscription, requirements and stuff. So it's really good.
There's so
Like,
much crossover. Like we do those live streams.
Yeah, we did
every
those.
now and
Yeah,
again.
yeah, every now
Those
and again,
are
yeah.
fun. It's like people love it when they I get so many comments that people are like happy to see you and Ryan and Preston. So
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
It's wild, and it is a blessing to be able to provide that for everyone out there because we're learning as we go. Like the entire team is learning as we go, and now we're in this new territory where no one's been. Jake's like, well, we've had it here, but now we are well past that scale. And we're like, okay, well now we're just fucking in new territory, and we're figuring out as we proceed. But thankfully to all of you, we're just listening back and forth, having those comms. So it's like, okay, what do you all want? Okay, we'll implement that. We'll figure stuff out. And we are further than probably any of us has imagined at this point. And how big we're growing, we're like, holy fuck.
Well, it's one of those rare occasions that, like, actually unknown occasions that, so as content creators, we listen to our following. Like that's what we do. You guys want this? Let me implement that. Like we pay attention, and now you have control.
Even when it's negative for your own
Yeah,
fucking
like-
psyche, you listen to the comments.
You
like,
listen, yeah.
Ooh.
But now you guys, I mean, you're in control of a platform, so you can implement those on a higher like level than you ever could before, which is fucking wonderful. So like the viewers themselves have more control over the future of that platform than they even probably realize.
Yeah. Yeah. That's literally.
I don't like how much control they have.
like fuck them viewers.
And on that note, fascism.
Fuck
Because sometimes I put out a video and I'm like, you guys should like this. And they don't.
You
We've
don't
all
realize you
been
are
there.
made to be ruled.
Why do they have, what is that free will all about?
Fucking love Chris.
Dude, all of this has been in this like this is gonna died. I hate why didn't you all like what I like?
what
Sons of bitches! I spent so much time.
I dive deep into China's intelligence agency and like only 500,000 of you watched it.
Hey, Fat Electrician, habitual line crosser, and myself started a second podcast over on Pepperbox. Kinda consensual. Nick came up with that genius name. It's us reading military stories and reacting to them. Think Creepcast, but with us. It's a lot of laughs. And that will be up Monday on Pepperbox. And we'll have some clips on YouTube too.
I watch Cody's videos and sometimes I get a little bit of a hard on. And I don't know if
so
that
good.
says something wrong about me.
Sounds very military.
No, it's, I mean, it's a good breakdown of a good shot versus a bad shot, like the
Yes.
circumstances. But then, when I just hear that whack, 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 like the quacking,
The quacks
repeatedly.
of justice.
Oh, I love it. It's so good.
Yes, there's nothing wrong with me.
I love it. Quacks of justice. And I do like when you're with the Pepperbox side, when you started uploading the normal, people are like, oh, this does hit different without the quacks of justice and the blurries. So a bit different now.
Now you see what we see every brunch. We're just like looking at each other and just showing each other like fucking snuff films. Like, oh, hey, I'm looking at this for Darwin Awards. Like, oh, well, I'm looking at this police shooting.
Cody, does that ever like how do you say it? Does that ever weigh on you when you watch that shit? Because so I make a lot of videos on like the war in Ukraine, and then after a couple of weeks and months of like watching Funker 550, sometimes it'll get to a point where I'm like, I maybe need to like step away. Does it ever bother you or?
Yeah. I was thinking about quitting at 1,000 videos, and Eli won't let me.
I was like, oh, yeah, you can quit. Yeah, just step away. This doesn't feel like you can quit.
Pulled out
You
his
can.
samurai sword.
Be ashamed, Cody. Be ashamed.
Do not
if you
shame.
did this.
Do not shame on subscribe podcast.
Forgiving us, please.
That's exactly how I feel in the military. I've tried putting in my 2 weeks every day for like the past 4 years.
I mean, it fucking sucks watching that all day because I just want to, hang out with my kid, my girlfriend, and be happy.
Right.
But anytime a cop is shot in my videos, I take my ad money and I just give it to them. So I'm giving cops like 10 grand every single time they get shot in my videos. So, just putting goodness into the world and letting that come back to me.
On top of that, like what doesn't help is that like it's one thing to see something and everybody unanimously agrees, like, oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
But whenever there's discourse on Twitter where there's 80% of the comment section is retards who know nothing about policing, know nothing about the law, talking about, well, that didn't have to, like, Jesus Christ.
I can only
Like,
imagine.
that's gotta.
Yeah, it sucks, man. We had, the one that came up this week again. It's the wedding party, and they get into a brawl with the cops.
I saw that.
And the girl's trying to take the cop's gun, like actively yanking at it for like 5 seconds. He turns around and cocks her. And they're like, oh, well, he didn't have to do that. It's like, no, she was trying to take his firearm from him. And he
She
reacted.
pays taxes.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
it
It's
belongs
it's
to her gun.
It's her gun.
I
It's her
can
gun.
relate to that because so I felt like when I
Taking
was
the
in
cop's
Iraq, I felt a little bit like I was like a kind of a cop a bit because I was there during like the occupation phase of the war. It wasn't like the invasion phase. So every time I would see people talk about anything having to do with the military, I'm like, you're making a judgment on someone who has to make a decision in like a split second. And then now with the benefit of video and everything, it's so easy to kind of like Monday morning quarterback what's happening. So like I can relate to the frustration.
Wasn't it like last year they had their first ever gun cam, like on the long gun, and the officer, he had a long gun, and it was the first time it had ever happened. It was a officer involved shooting, and they had a camera on the rifle itself. It's happened like a year ago. I remember reading the article about it.
The one with the laptop.
It was a couple
shot through the screen.
No, not that one. It was a couple years ago. It was did something, shot at police, and the officer had a gun cam on his pistol, and he just lit this dude up.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
the
that.
company, we
Yeah.
met the company at SHOT Show 2 years ago, and they're like, "You're the reason our company is like doing so well right now."
Really?
Because that was my most watched video of all time. There's like 19 million views.
Holy shit.
What's the size of a gun cam on a pistol? It's like got to be tiny, right?
Yeah, it looks like when you mount a flashlight underneath the barrel, it's like that size.
It's like a bottom Picatinny thing, but it automatically records. It's like a GoPro or like one of those like fucking traffic cams where like 30 seconds on either side of you pulling the trigger. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty cool.
Skip this if you hate veterans.
Wait, why the did you cut to me? We're happy to announce that Underdog is going above and beyond their sponsorship obligations to help us help veterans.
Underdog is donating $5,000 to our veteran charity month.
So if you're looking to put money down on sports or to the fights coming up, and you want your money to go towards somebody that supports veterans, try Underdog.
And they'll match half your bet up to $500 with code UNSUB. Which brings us to the fights. Mike Tyson, the man, the myth, the legend, is fighting Jake Paul.
Yeah, I don't think you have to really say who we're putting money on.
It's Tyson. Tyson with the knockout. Iron Mike, baby, you got this.
Look, I already got a win on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to another win on Friday. You know what I mean.
200 on Tyson.
200 on Tyson. Doctor.
Bro, you're going down. Go download Underdog and support them because they are supporting now us and a couple of veteran nonprofits.
They really didn't have to do that, but we appreciate their support. On the gun, have you seen the meme of the gun cam thing where they had like they showed like a prototype or whatever it was? Maybe it was just the meme, but it was like a revolver that had an old flash photography style camera on the bottom of it, and it was like, oh, things that I've shot at, and it's like spider, deer, furry, just like a furry doing that.
Oh my god.
No, I just it's constantly arguing with people online. It's like the dude sitting on his couch who hasn't fucking walked a mile in 10 years, and he's watching a UFC fight, and he's like, well, I could have taken that guy. Or he's like, he's saying, well, you should have kicked him here the first time, that fucking,
I would have shot him in the leg.
yeah, I would have fucking done this, dude.
That works really good. I would have shot him in the leg in the round. It hit
I
off
would've
the
hit
femur.
him.
It went up. It went through the top part.
I would've hit him.
Stop bleeding.
Yeah. Doesn't matter that they have an artery in the leg that easily bleed out from.
What? The femoral, that takes a lot of time to bleed out from.
Yeah, no, what, a minute flat or like
think
40
like 40
seconds?
seconds.
Yeah. Oh, man, the femoral. Oof.
I think I talked about it in one of my videos too. If you hit someone in the femur, it explodes because there's so much muscle tension on it. It fucking does this.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you break the femur, it doesn't even have to be like shot in it. If you were just, I don't know how, there's like few ways to break the femur, but I don't know. If you find a way to
the
break
hardest
it,
bone in the human
car
body, I
accident,
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like you are done.
Yeah, because when it snaps, it pulls, as you're saying, all those muscles are pulled in tight. It's just why a femur, or on your femur, when it shatters, it can just slip and go up and then tear the artery.
Because, like, aside from the head, I think the second and third most bleedy parts of the body are the hip and the thigh.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently I was talking to a medic friend that like they're like getting shot in the abdomen, not really that scary. Like you can lose a lot of intestine and it takes you a while to bleed out, but they're like getting shot in the pelvis, get to a hospital. Like
Pelvic
that,
bowl.
you will die quickly.
That's why I think we were talking about it recently. It's like, any wars that are fought in the future are going to be fought with plate carriers. So you fucking shoot them in the pelvic bowl.
Yeah. Oof.
And then that will do the trick really quick.
The more you know.
Yeah,
in the
like
little cars.
aiming center mass is a little bit less, like it's protected. So
I mean, it's still gonna fucking rock your world. Like it's gonna hurt.
take
Like,
the wind out of you.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
I've seen videos of people like with a plate carrier. They're like, oh, that wasn't as bad, especially with modern tech, because it's not hitting your body. It has that plate and then the
9mm
Kevlar
yeah.
behind it. So
Just
it's
wait till they
absorbing.
find out about dick meta.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tarkov.
The Mexican police shot me.
Yeah,
Fucking Sicario.
Yeah, my unit, we had cock pads, as we called them, and my buddy would always say that he had the biggest cock pad in the battalion. It was giant.
It's a very
huge.
infantry thing.
Did he just get an extra?
Extra large, just a cock pad.
That's fucking hilarious.
You
We
know-
hated those things. We still wore it. That is like, we wouldn't wear Nick. We wouldn't wear the shoulder. Like, that's stupid. Every dude I knew was like,
Where
protect the ding ding.
When I was in, I don't know how police are with like the protection meta, as you would call it, but like when I was in Iraq, they went nuts. It was almost like a overbearing. The government turned into like an overbearing parent where we had like shoulder pads,
the dips and daps?
Yes, the dips and the dabs.
Fuck, dude, I hate
everything. They were afraid that somebody might like trip falling out of a striker or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Dude, this is.
they make Kevlar shoulder pads for your body.
You look like a football player.
It's
Like.
And they went through that. We weren't at. That was during, as you were saying, the occupation or not the surge. It was
The
right
gay
after.
part of the war.
Yeah, the non-fun part. I had the gay part of the war where it's like I fired around paperwork, and you're like, oh, this sucks, dick. So we went to Taji one time. Like you mentioned Taji, and you lived out in the Cobb, so I was like,
Where's Taji at?
in Baghdad. It was like.
So it's like 15 kilometers north of Baghdad, and then I lived on a little outpost that was like the size of a football field.
Thank God Nick's not here.
What were we saying?
Kilometers.
Oh yeah. I'm just talking in communism speak right now for just for my commie audience out there, their benefit. But yeah, I mean that's like we could in the military we talked in terms of like cliques and stuff. So. I don't know how to translate to American speak, but yeah. So the outpost was about the size of like a football field, and then we had another outpost that was a chicken coop that we had converted into a barracks.
That sounds very army.
Yeah, like it's you're burning your shit at that point. You got your JPA.
Enjoy the salmonella from the chicken shit.
Oh yeah, a lot of dysentery.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I forget what the question was, but that's the answer.
You're like that experience because I was taught. We did a cob for almost 6 months in Baghdad, so I always try to explain them like, oh, we got to shower every 20 days or stuff like that. And you're burning your shit. It doesn't register to people like that lifestyle though, because it's.
Ooh, my diet was Pop-Tarts and frozen meatball subs. And so happy Veterans Day. I know a lot of you out there are watching right now, and you know what this is. This is a Rip It. And this was what everybody drank on, like, if you had guard. We basically rotated between, it was like 8 hours of guard tower duty, and then it was like 8 hours of patrols, and then 8 hours of you go on raids. And so
No weekends off.
Yeah,
No days off.
What?
Well, a
Days
day
off
off
would
is-
suck.
Yeah.
Days off would suck. That would be the worst because then you had to like stay busy. But you had to find a way to stay busy. But these Rip-Its kept me alive. And this is not a sponsorship. This is just, I hope like only, so I brought a bunch for everyone, but then I thought, I was like, people are going to feel weird if I take out like 5 Rip-Its. So now there's only one for me, but don't drink if you,
I don't. I was
if you're
thinking
pregnant.
I was thinking of the other one. It was the Wild Tiger, I think.
Yeah, wild tigers. They'd have those overseas too.
Yeah.
Ribbits are just pure cancer, dude.
Yeah, that's
But
really,
boy, do they wake you up.
you know, they do the trick.
There's
I mean, yeah, you
bull
probably had him,
testosterone
like,
in there.
The
Chris,
first
what-
time you were in Iraq, you had him, right?
Oh, fuck off.
What were you saying?
No, I was gonna say, Chris, what was your MOS?
Infantry.
Okay.
So I was National Guard infantry. I was Nasty Girl infantry. So basically, like I enlisted thinking that I would hate it, and I was like, I'll do 3 years in the Guard and just deploy and get out, and like that'll be it. But I ended up loving it, and it ended up being like
He
my
likes the
thing.
sound a man makes when he takes his last breath.
How many deployments you go on?
just one
Okay.
15 month.
9 month.
Oh, you lucky
Yeah,
prick.
and then 3 month stateside. So it was like you're away from home, but yeah, no, the guys that we ripped, the guys that we replaced was a 15-month tour. They were the 25th ID out of Hawaii.
15 months, dude.
They were. It was like you walked into, you know, that movie where everyone's going stir crazy. It's like a horror movie, and they've been in the like cabin for 30 months.
Is that the
Like,
Crazies?
Yeah, it was like walking
yeah.
into the middle of the crazies, and these guys they'd gone native. They'd gone a little bit like, is that racist?
No, you're good. You're good.
No, this
Don't
is
matter.
Is that racist? No, this is Hi, back to the question.
It's like Apocalypse Now with the dudes. They find the colonel and like everybody's just fucking like, okay, well.
But honestly, like every time I've had experience with either 25th ID, which is surprising because they're out of Hawaii. It's 25th is Hawaii, right?
Yes.
And then
Thunder
173rd.
Now natives getting a little bit more racist.
We're turning it into.
But those dudes are always like, they're so, I don't know how to explain it. They're so numb to like everything. They're just like, you guys want to get shot at today? We're going to go over here. Guaranteed we're going to get shot at. Like, they're just so numb to everything. They're like, don't walk on that road. You'll die. But if you want to, go the ahead, dude. Like
15, 16 months
Yeah.
of the same sector does that real
You were
quick.
second ID, right?
Yeah, 2
my,
ID.
My
We
grandpa was second ID.
16 months, and we lived out in a cob for like, they were like, hey, you're here, and that is it for 4 months until it went to Moctadia, and then that was a new cob, and then you're the exact same thing. But they had actually like cook food and everything, and then you had people that lived on base too, but that was, for the most part, it was just 3 months or 4 months of out in sector. Rotate every 20 days. We had 20-day rotations back to base for a day. Be like, oh, shower, do everything, and then rotate back out.
So yeah, that was when we would go back to the fob, Taji, every 30 days. And we would have showers once a week. And we would rotate between the different jobs of like QRF, guard tower duty, and Patrol. And it was just like a blur of, and then also rotate between like the circadian shift of between day and night.
It sucked.
What a ball.
You know, that's what's interesting. Like,
It sucked.
and I can
dick.
kind of like identify with both of you guys because, granted, I was a 19 kilo at the time, but like all we did was walk everywhere. We had no tanks in Afghanistan, so we were circumstantially just running patrols and running tower guard. And it's interesting to like when I remember back, people like, you know, is there things that like you don't really recall as much? And I'm like, there's entire days, like maybe weeks that I don't remember because I was so fucking exhausted. Like I've been sitting there before, like, did we go on a patrol today? And they're like, I think we did. Like you have no idea where the you went.
It's like nobody remembers their Thursday at SHOT Show.
Oh, shooty,
think we just
bang,
talked about
bang,
this the
drink-
other day.
Shooty, drinky thing. Whatever we call it.
Is that going to be our new shirt? The shooty drinky thing?
Yeah. It was that text of just Jake. He was like, when does this end? When does shooty bang bang thing end?
Shooty drinky bang bang convention.
Shooty drinky bang bang.
Oh, it's just kind of that thing where you can only get so exhausted.
Dude, that
You know,
is.
I'll admit, you know, SHOT Show is entirely self-inflicted, but unless you work there, in which case.
And we're working, but we also drink with all the work we do.
And gamble.
I feel bad for the people that have to man the booths because like they're out there with us because for them this is like their party time. So they're out there drinking with us until 2 o'clock in the morning. They have to be manning the booths like front and center at 6:30 in the morning, and do it the entire thing till 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and then do it again. I'm like, dude,
I'd rather shit in my hands and clap.
There's and the amount of just like extroversion that they have, that they can talk and shake that many hands and like say hi to that many peoples. It is it's truly impressive.
They probably hate us when we do booth appearances.
Oh,
yeah,
It's probably a relief, I'm hoping, for them,
Actually,
but maybe.
yeah.
They don't
Because
have to
everyone
interact.
probably like runs to you guys instead of swamping them.
I don't know how it feels. I'm going to try this year. I'm going to go.
It's your first SHOT Show?
It's my first SHOT Show.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Popping my SHOT Show.
Welcome to
cherry.
the party.
welcome to the party, pal.
it is a you think you know. It's like, oh, I'll be, dude, especially the older we get, the harder those days are like, fuck.
I think this will be my 10th SHOT Show or 11th.
I was about to
SHOT
say,
Show.
Brandon's been doing it since he was 19.
Before he could drink legally.
Yeah, there's some fun stories about the black rifle stuff back in the day.
You're like, oh.
Like, I just want to be, I want to do this for a living one day. And like now I'm there, I'm like, oh, homie, you had no idea what was ahead. It's all good stuff. Well, a lot good stuff.
A lot of good stuff. It's a fun time. We get to hang out with everyone. We get to just also not be extroverted. We are forced to that. And then we interact with everyone, and then we want to die afterwards. You're like,
Does anybody here consider themselves an extrovert?
No.
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 I'm a fucking hermit.
Yeah.
I realized I thought I was an extrovert until I went to my first big SHOT Show where I like was popular by any means. And then I remember having the conscious thought, because it was 2019. I was like, man, I think I'm just an introvert with a big battery.
So you can handle, because that's what they say is that if interacting with a ton of other people like gives you energy, then you're an extrovert. But if it kind of like each interaction just takes a little bit more, then you're an introvert.
That's when I realized that wasn't me. But like, I don't get me wrong, like I'm insanely thankful of like all the audience we have and everything. Like it's super cool to make that much of an impact on people's lives. I'm sure you guys all get it.
Every introvert's like secret fantasy is the idea of loving being around a lot of people, but just not being able to like.
I wish that was me.
Yeah, you're like when you walk in that bathroom and close the door, it's like, okay.
I think I'm dying.
Man, Rich has it so nice. Like Angry Cops gets so much. Dude, the Rich. Energy he gets from the crowd versus everyone at the table is like. We're like, no. No one's charging each other. This is bad. Well, this charges us.
Yes.
Temporarily.
That liquid courage, liquid peopling. That's what we'll call it.
It's a fun time. Dude,
where the rippets come in.
When Cody started his crazy business of podcasting, you know what he didn't think about? Merchandise. But now he's selling what?
Merch. And it couldn't be easier.
All because of Shopify.
If you've shopped on bunkerbranding.com, you've used Shopify.
Shopify is a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business.
From the launch your online shop stage to the first real life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders ? Shopify's there to help you grow.
From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS, that means point of sale, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered.
Once you start selling, Shopify makes getting paid simple by instantly accepting every type of payment.
Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers using the internet's best converting checkout, up to 36% better compared to other leading commerce platforms.
And sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic.
Your AI-powered all-star.
Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the United States. And Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen.
My favorite companies.
What is that?
No clue, but they also power millions of other entrepreneurs across 175 countries.
Because businesses that grow with Shopify.
Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/unsubpod. All lowercase.
Go to shopify.com/unsubpod now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in.
Go to shopify.com/unsubpod.
Do we talk about you guys were arguing over there for zombies?
Oh. Yeah. So, I made the mistake of telling everybody that last night me and the girl were watching World War Z. And
Great
I forgot
movie.
you had your...
The movie's better than the book. That's what some say.
Retarded people say that. Just fucking.
Cody's gonna grab a beer bottle.
Just like Cody just.
I heard Brad Pitt was really onto something.
Fucking.
Brad Pitt versus zombies movie.
I think it would have been a great movie if they didn't call it World War Z.
Yeah.
That's what they basically wanted. They were like, let's make a zombie movie and let's let's hijack this property
Just
to make it, to like glom onto their success.
Yeah.
Which is wild in this day and age. You could be like, hey, let's not do that and come up with something original, and then it will do good. What's it called? Did the same thing. The giant monster movie.
The Pacific Rim?
The first one that was handheld.
Cloverfield? Oh, Cloverfield,
And
yeah.
then even the last Cloverfield they've done multiple where it was literally a horror movie and they're like, oh, just slap Cloverfield and we'll change that.
What was that one with the Marines and the aliens came in? I felt that was more like World War Z than the World War Z movie.
Talking about Battlefield LA?
Yes.
Okay.
I felt like Battlefield LA.
I just thought that was a pretty good movie.
Right. That's
I
what I'm
enjoyed
saying.
it.
Like that was more like a World War Z movie than World War Z even was.
Dude, all they had to do was take World War Z, turn it into a mini series on like HBO or something, and every chapter that's an episode.
Like an anthology.
Yeah. Because every chapter is how one individual survived the zombie apocalypse.
It's so good the way they jump
Yeah.
around like that, and I enjoyed the book.
I mean, your arm is World War Z, right?
Yeah, my entire sleeve on my left arm is World War Z.
So you must have felt like it was an affront when they kind of sacrileged. The movies just kind of tore it apart. Because I feel as though like HBO, when they saw how well I'm blanking.
Walking
on.
Dead.
Yes. No, the other one. The video game that they did. The first one was, I thought, very good.
Last of Us?
Last of Us. I thought the first series was actually pretty damn good, and it was because they basically just took the video game
they
and
were like,
copied it.
"But."
Yeah, and the second one's probably gonna suck. Like second video game sucked.
Yes.
But like that first season was killer, and if they had just done the same thing as like World War Z.
No, Pedro, don't go golfing.
It's kind of like how the people who made the Borderlands movie could have just taken Borderlands 2 and made it a movie.
Nah, put Kevin Hart in it and make it fucking lame.
I love Borderlands. I was so fucking let down.
Okay. So what? Before I forget, the reason that I brought all that up, and let me just like work it into here because I feel like a lot of people probably will know about this, is Con Plan 8888. Which in the military, we have these things called con plans, which it's short for concept plan, concept of a plan. And they're basically kind of like contingency plans. And so the Army, our tax money, we pay a ton of money towards we pay bureaucrats to come up with all kinds of just crazy what if scenarios. And legitimately, we pay like Steve out there and Carl to write out what would happen if a zombie attack happened. So there is a actual U.S. DOD con plan on zombie attack, how to fight a zombie attack. From the government to, I'm almost really quick, it's insane. And the only reason it was released was due to a FOIA request.
Freedom of Information Act.
Right, correct. For 3 years, it was secret. So people thought, hey, maybe this is like a disguised plan. Maybe it's a stand-in for like how to actually do a martial law or like civil dissent. But it's like pages and pages, and it talks about how to put down, basically like a virus or, So
it would really do my heart good to know, like, if they just had like different plans where it's like fast movers, slow movers, 28 Days Later style zombies versus Walking Dead zombies. They just have all of those different plans put out.
Well,
Do they really
I will text it. I'll text it to you right now.
What do you know? Like this is dude.
What? They legitimately, the Army points out, okay, here's how you fight fast movers. Here's how you fight slow movers. Here's how the government should respond.
Con Plan 8888?
Con Plan 8888. If you look it up, it's a PDF now because the government had to release it.
How much?
I love his
cost?
meltdown videos.
So to make it less like
IV88. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. So to make it to get rid of, like, okay, so the boring idea of it is that it's just they were okay. Your average infantryman does not want to listen to a briefing, and if you put up a bunch of slides about, hey, how do we invade Nigeria, that's boring. But if you put up slides on how to fight a zombie apocalypse, that's more exciting. So that's like the boring justification for why they made it. But I'll send it to you guys. It's wild.
Well, what pisses me off is I literally just dropped a video, U.S. versus zombies, and I didn't know this existed. So now God damn it, I'm going to have to redo that fucking...
Stupid.
No!
How much did we spend on that?
It was $38 million to write that up.
Listen, I wrote the
wrote
same.
that fucking.
I wrote the same in
government
7th grade.
wrote
All right.
Oh, fucking Max Brooks already wrote the thing
About zombies. Your money went $38 million of your money went to a plan to fight zombies.
Do you remember what happened in World War Z? How they finally like destroyed all the zombies?
So what I liked was there was like the Battle of New York, right, or the Battle of Yorktown, Yonkers,
yeah,
which is just north of New York, yeah. And the zombies were like their bodies were just piling up, and they had the Bradleys, and they had like that was my favorite. To me, World War Z is all about the fact that how would modern military equipment fare against brain dead zombies, which was completely gone from the movie.
It didn't work.
Yeah. So they were just dropping like bombs, and they just ended up being overrun because the more you kill, like just kind of adds to them. But how did it I forget exactly how it ended.
Okay, so the way that they finally like corralled every zombie and they finally were able to clean up the world is they got a bunch of like sharpshooters. They taught everyone to shoot for headshots. And they had like basic infantry rifles. They had like M14s, like basic shit that will kill something in the brain in one hit. And they would blast like AC/DC or they would blast metal music. And so they would get in a square and just wait for all the zombies to come to the music, and they would just pop them. And when you run out or you're feeling fatigued, you would pass your rifle back to the dude behind you, and they would come up. And so they would corral thousands of zombies around them and just destroy them all with headshots. And that's how they eventually solved it. It wasn't like super amazing, fucking expensive military equipment. It just ended up being a dude with a rifle with like a 7.62 in it.
It wasn't Brad Pitt. It was just an average
Injecting himself with
infantryman. The thing that is like genius about that book is that they thought of that procedure. They thought of that like he has to pass the rifle to the next guy. Just that like granite level of how do you kill all these zombies was, to me, that was the beauty of World War Z.
For the one thing in the book that really, and it was the only thing that popped into my head when you were talking about how they finally eliminated them. I think it was during the Battle of Yonkers. Might have been one of the other chapters, but they.
I love how we're talking about this like it's actual military.
I know, right?
Obviously, the Battle of Yonkers.
We lost a lot of good men.
The chaplain, going around like there was somebody who was bit, reading them their final rites, and then just putting a bullet in their head like that. Dude, that's so fucking.
That was one of the chapters too.
Poor chaplain.
Dude, that's wild, man.
That's how chaplains get PTSD. Like, hey, you're gonna execute people too. It's like, I signed up. What? Hold
dude,
the on.
Yeah, there's a whole chapter about the chaplain going around and having to do that.
Yeah, dude, like that's wild. That was the one thing that popped into my head as soon as you were talking about like how they finally finished them off. I was like, how did they? And then I thought chaplain. I was like, no, he didn't do it. Yeah,
it's a shit job right there, dude.
It's wild. That book, if you guys have never read it, like read it. And something we were talking about before the podcast started, that is fucking Mel Brooks' son who wrote that. Mel Brooks of Spaceballs.
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
He did.
Wait, did he do
Cappy?
that? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
Mel
he
Brooks'
do it under
son.
a different name?
no, Max Brooks.
Max Brooks.
Oh, that Brooks.
Yeah, no one just connects the dots on that one.
He's also, funny story, he's on an episode of Sons of Guns where they do the ultimate zombie survival gun, which they end up being, it's like a Ruger 1022 inside of a P90 chassis because it's fucking Sons of Guns, whatever.
That didn't age well. That shit.
Yeah, that didn't age
No,
well.
no.
What would be your ultimate zombie gun? I
listen here,
open this
brother.
question to everyone.
I actually have a portion to go over everyone's weapon platform. Because you talked about the 416, everyone taking it over.
Yeah,
We'll
okay, go.
Let's start off with Brandon.
Zombie survival, like, all right, Tism touch. For me personally, like if infinite ammo or everything wasn't an issue, I'd say AK-105.
Okay, but
It's my go-to.
that is an issue, though, in a zombie apocalypse.
Then-
What's the round that's most readily available in the United States?
I have it like a
You
decked
do have to
out,
worry about logistics.
decked out AK in 5.56 with quad rails and everything like that. I've got the whole thing. We're actually going to be releasing these guns pretty soon, but I basically built the perfect, in my mind, like American AK, and so we're building a few of them. You guys are welcome to them if you'd like one. But,
Yeah, I don't know what
yes.
scratch
But-
if.
14.5 inch pin and weld, fucking suppressor ready, everything like that's my gun. I'm now convinced. I'm like,
Just make
zombie apocalypse in the United States. Like that's what I want.
10.5 inch. I'll take it.
I'll do that just for you.
You can get picky about a free gun.
I don't agree with Brandon.
I have a lot of guns.
What?
I just with the barrel like.
What,
All right,
what do you want?
What do you got, Cody?
No, I just okay. So you're gonna have the National Guard, you're gonna have the Army, you're gonna have the whole military out there dying, dropping weapons everywhere. It's gonna be M4 platform. So a basic AR platform, because you can pick up parts. If your gun breaks down, you can pick up a new one. 5.56 is gonna be readily available everywhere.
Everywhere.
That's what 5.56 AK.
I wouldn't do it with the AK platform though.
It's almost like we have a weapon design warehouse at our disposal.
Famous last words, and Brandon's like, I got bit. I'm like, we had a weapons design facility.
Don't let me get bit, motherfucker.
Now we have a shop we can't use. Oh no.
Man.
Like, no, just cut his arm off. Now I'm still infected with one arm.
It's not that one.
He bit the other arm.
We saved him. He has no arms.
I love how your zombie apocalypse plan is let me get bit.
I'm just talking.
I got him, guys. Let me at him.
Worst case scenario, guys.
Yeah, no arms. Little left.
Fuck. That makes sense though, because it is like AR, like bolt carriers, all the little shit where you're like,
It'll be laying everywhere.
Well, I think it also depends on where you're at geographically. In the U.S., of course, AR or M4 style. But I'm just saying, like, let's say me in the military stationed overseas, the most world common round, 7.62 by 39, is AK round. And AKs are fucking everywhere because when Soviet Union collapsed, they sold them to everybody.
I guarantee it's the one time we go on a trip together, like the gang does Japan, and that's when that happens, and we're like, mother. Like we're stuck in a country with no guns.
Luckily, one of us has already built the guns you can build in Japan.
Yeah.
Chase, show how that turned out.
French 75 with grape shot. Tally ho!
I think I feel like I gotta go belt fed though. Personally, I think if I'm gonna, it depends. So
what
what you
caliber?
said, you made a good point. Is like,
heavy as fuck.
geographically is gonna matter because are you in like a safe house or are you stuck in Japan? It's gonna make a difference. But I feel like if I'm stuck in New Jersey where I'm at, probably want some kind of belt fed. If
Lots
it's like
of belt feds in New Jersey.
Yeah,
New Jersey is famous for their belt feds.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Actually, Picatinny Arsenal, but
He's like Mark 19.
Legitimately, yeah.
Yeah. But so yeah, like if I had a choice, I'd probably go. I mean, XM250. The 250 would be dope because it's got that.
Is that the new one?
Yeah, it's got the mitigating recoil choice.
338 normal?
There's a version of it that's 338 Norma that I got to fire, and it's
That's
sick
the
because-
crazy one. That's the one you can like just walk and shoot.
You got to shoot that?
Yeah, Sig let me
how
fire
is
it.
it?
It's really nice because I've fired a 50 cal, I've fired a M240, and they say it's kind of between. And they also say that it's the nice part about it is that the impulse is more like a straight push back. It feels like just instead of. So I love the 330. Yeah, that's how I would. That's how I would put it.
I hate I understood all of that.
Everyone was still breaking
We
it down. It's
speak
like,
the same.
That's fucking cool. Yeah, no, I've wanted to shoot. There's a lot of those. Like I think Ohio Ordnance has theirs too. That I got to play with one, take it apart at SHOT Show last year. Oh, dude, it is dope. Because it is a 2024 version of the MG34.
Actually,
It's hot.
we're on to something that I wanted to pick your brain about.
Oh.
And particularly, if I could.
You are more than welcome. Let's go.
I was going to say, before we get to that, can we ask what was his pew pew?
Oh, yeah.
I will go down. We'll work down.
Yeah.
We'll work
Zombies,
down.
zombies,
No,
let's go.
We're gonna work down it. I still want. We got this. We're still on him. This is what we got. 338 Lapool. Not Lapool, but
I do want to know that, but also I also want to know. So I've been covering like the XM7 forever, the NGSW, then it was XM5. Like, I wanted to know what your thoughts and how did you like? Because I found it to be a bit of a bucking bronco.
Yeah.
It was a lot. But also I get that like the U.S. Army is going for a new doctrine thing. They're trying to hit out to like 800 meters. But from everyone I've talked to, they kind of feel as though hitting out that far is, for like a regular soldier, that's a lot to ask to hit out to that distance. I mean, I don't know.
Depending on the optic you give them and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right.
But hitting out to 800 yards for anybody who's never done it, that's not easy to do. All of my issues with the XM7 or what do they call it? The SIG. I don't know. Whatever. It's a SIG XM7.
XM7.
I have one in 308, and everybody's like, "Well, you how do you fucking know what it is? You don't even have the real caliber." It's like 6.8 or 277 Fury. Like, all of my problems with that weapon platform have nothing to do with caliber. I understand why they chose the caliber they did. I get that. That makes perfect sense. The issues I have with it, I showed in the video very clearly, like the over-insertion stop, lack of over-insertion stop, where it's like, okay, let's say you run the gun dry. Boom, 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 boom. You're out, your 20-round mag. You drop it. You throw in another magazine. You slap it in super hard because you're full of adrenaline. You're getting shot at, and you are shooting people. You slam it in, and you try to send the bolt home, and it jams because you've killed the gun because you've thrown the magazine in too hard. To me, massive fucking problem.
you know what we're trained in the military? Insert slap again to make sure it's set. And now you're like with your video, as it points out, that is.
You got to put it
I
against
gotta
Kevlar.
also add the like slap it on your head a couple of times to make sure your brain's working. Yeah, I totally get that because I feel as though a lot of the jams on the M4 for a while there were also like polymer mag related. I don't know if, I mean, I just remember they basically told us not to use PMags for a while on the M4s that we had. For whatever reason, that it was just like jamming with them.
I feel like they developed that over time. Like the new gen PMags in 5.56, I feel like are pretty good. Like that's like universally accepted as some of the better magazines right now. I could be wrong on that. That's just my understanding of it. But no, on those, like there were so many issues. Like even the handguard, like things that you would mount, like for example, a PEC 15 to, like a laser designator, something that you would use under night vision. If you're using, the advantages that the American military has, like we fuck at night. Sorry, that's just like our thing.
We own the night. Like that.
Yeah, that's
Afghanistan
statements.
was the reason that I got comfortable in the dark. Like I'm much more comfortable in the dark now.
Yeah, the first time I ever put on like white Foss dual tube nods, I'm just like, oh, this is why we win wars. Like, this is just this shit. This fucks. You put a laser designator on that handguard and it sways so much that it's like you can't use that to reliably zero. And like all these issues are adding up. And just in the one that they sent me, which again, SIG, I'm very appreciative and I want to help, but like I could never recommend that gun.
So I had a crazy thing happen where I put out a video about basically the soldiers' feedback on the XM7, and I went through kind of all the open source information on it, and you're basically reading like Joe's, your common Joe's feedback on, hey, it's funny because you read Stars and Stripes, you read these different publications, and all you're hearing is like, I love it. It's so powerful. Oh my God. And then, so
I want to read that article. Oh my God.
yeah, and then I put out this video with like, it's about the soldier feedback, and then a bunch of dudes hit me up privately, and they're messaging me saying like, what the fuck? Why did you cherry pick my comments? And I come to find out that like the PAOs in the military, the public affairs officers, are legitimately cutting out all of their negative feedback. Oh yes,
I believe it. I genuinely believe that.
This Reddit post popped off, went viral, and this guy was like, task and purpose, Chris Cappy's a asshole because he cherry picked all my comments, and I'm like, all I know is what Stars and Stripes puts out.
You're just like this. Yeah. This is what I had.
But I totally get his point of view because if I saw that, I'd be like, what the? Why are you only taking? So the PAO cut out all of his negative feedback. He said he had 10 minutes of talking to the PAO about shit he hated and how it's like impossible to clean and this and that.
Yeah,
and
you need a tool. You need a tool to take down the bulk carrier group.
I could go on and on about his complaints. He said the MOA on it was like, I feel like I'm probably getting too far into the weeds right now, but
also,
I'm about to
try
wrap
to
this
use
up.
the charging handle on it.
There is no such thing as too much into the weeds. Now people are like,
okay, so this guy, he was making fun of me so hard, but I had to like blast it out to everyone that I know and just say like, guys, read this because this guy has a point, and I messed up. Like I should have dug deeper, but he's putting out all this stuff about, okay, it's a 4 MOA on this rifle, so he said because it's so overgassed, like every third shot it just wings. And just sends out. But he said the rest of it are like a 2 MOA, which for context, the M4 is like I think a 4 MOa.
I don't know, probably like as a new. They should
depends on
the
who
standard
built it.
issue ones, I think.
Yeah,
and it depends on how much you shot it and when's your last. It is a lot of.
So I was just blown away because I'm like not that surprised that the government would do that, but they just saw all of his complaints and they said, "Hey, let's cut that shit."
So you're saying the government willingly withheld information about soldiers operating a piece of equipment so that way they could sell a specific weapon they wanted to and maintain a contract so somebody got some money. You're lying.
I'm asking you a
not real.
question right now. What do you think is easier? What do you think is easier? Changing the military's decision on what product to buy or making a product sound good?
That's fair. That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
We have 2 options here.
Man, I love this. The gang shits on the XM7. There's a lot of SIG stuff I like.
I am an XM7 enjoyer. I love it. But also at the same time, I wish I did if they sent me one. After the video I made for them, they have like... I can't say this, but
You're not getting one, buddy.
I'll say it. They're not in a hurry to work with me right now.
Right,
No, but it sucks.
I'll take one to test out.
Because I don't have anything against SIG. I really don't. I just that thing in particular really kind of chapped my ass. Because there's so many other, like if you try to use the charging handle on it, good luck. Thing is like almost. I'll show you mine. It is so stiff, it's almost unusable. Like you have to use the left side charging handle. But the military's their guidelines for what they needed in that program was they needed a standard charging handle in the back for whatever fucking reason.
The reason was because it was like, we don't want soldiers that are already used to this to change. So they have to have that and the front charging handle or side charging handle.
Yep.
dude, I can't wait till the XM7s filter down to like the police force and we can finally see some donut operator videos with the XM7.
Yeah, I can't wait till cops carry those.
See, that's wild. No, I
I
don't
hit him
know.
with the first 3 shots, but the fourth one just went all wonky and hit the neighbor's dog. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Hey, it's
No,
only
that's the ATF breakdown.
Oops.
Hey, Eli! What you doing?
You're just filing taxes.
Well, that's not what my taxes look like, but either way, I'm here to talk to you about ExpressVPN.
Why are you here?
Oh, I see you're using incognito mode. Did you know incognito mode won't hide what kind of taxes you're filing?
What do you mean?
It doesn't matter what mode you use or how many times you clear your browsing history. Your internet service provider can still see every website you've ever visited. Do you want people to know these are the kinds of taxes you're filing, Eli?
Wait, are you in my house?
What makes you ask that? Gesundheit. It doesn't matter if you get your internet through Verizon or AT&T or your local internet service provider. In the US, internet service providers can legally sell your information to ad companies.
Leave me alone.
Were the taxes I sent you not good enough for you, Eli?
I don't want to see your taxes.
Just visit the link at expressvpn.com/unsub and you could get 3 months free on a 1-year package.
That's expressvpn.com/unsub.
Protect your online activity today with the VPN rated #1 by CNET and Mashable. That's expressvpn.com/unsub to learn more.
So what about them squirrels and raccoons? Oh, God.
Ah, yes.
return them to dust.
No,
Jesus
no.
Christ.
Have you not heard about that?
Oh, you talking about tell me.
Fucking
Peanut
Peanut.
and Fred.
Were you talking about the acorn?
No.
No,
I don't know then.
Oh, Cody.
Oh,
Yes,
Dude,
wait.
this is not a good. People fucked up on this one. This is in your neck of the woods. A little close.
I'm still trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to talk about this one, but go
I
ahead.
know, we're trying to figure it out together. So 7 years ago, TikTok guy, social media influencer, he found a squirrel. Its mother had died, like little baby squirrel, nursed it back to health, and it's been his baby for the past 7 years. And because of this squirrel, he's been able to rescue hundreds of animals, like through his charity that he does. Because he posts videos of him hanging out with a squirrel, like
good.
jump on
I
his
got
shoulder, like jump on him, and he loves it. New York, I can't remember the exact agency that came in, but
NYDEC.
NYDCE?
NYDEC.
DEC. They got a search warrant and came into his house and took the squirrel and the raccoon that he was helping with his charity, and they euthanized them.
So the whole return to the dust thing kind of... I'm sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
I was going a different direction.
Yeah, no,
What
you're
the-
good, you're good.
What the actual?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And this was a famous, like the squirrel has a
dude,
Like a million
millions.
followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They came in and they ended
got a
that thing?
warrant.
What the?
And what was the reason? Because it was just not. I don't
Certain
even
states-
know.
Well,
certain
there
states-
were squirrels about the squirrel, and he's like,
Dude, the
dude,
squirrel,
the squirrel was
a homie.
indoors, like it was in his house. It was just chilling with him.
This
And,
is like a homie squirrel. Like it would just like
Yeah.
hop on and walk around with it. So many videos. Like
I've
millions
seen
of followers.
ferrets that are more
Probably not allowed
wild.
to own exotic animals.
No, he was in the middle of getting the squirrel registered as an educational animal, but there were concerns about the spread of rabies
So
between the raccoon and the squirrel.
That was why they killed it, is because they had to check it for rabies, and the only way to check it for rabies is to cut into their brain. So they had to kill it. They had to put it down to check for rabies that they didn't know existed.
There'd only be a concern for rabies if one of the animals had been contacted by an animal that had active rabies.
Yeah. This is a government agency we're talking about. Jake.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
It might have rabies. Let's check.
Yeah.
It was the New York Department of Environmental Conservation, which I'm sure they do a lot of good things, but that was, holy shit, dude, you're going to steal this squirrel from this dude's house who's never bit anyone or acted out of hand.
That's huge on social. That's where I do not get how something like that goes through all those changing of hands and that high up where somebody's like,
he said,
hey, this is going to happen to just double check even a smidgen. Like, hey, okay, this is a famous squirrel. What are the repercussions? What are the optics on this?
4 administrators and a judge signed off on that warrant. That's what I was reading in the article this morning. I was like, that's nuts, man.
Dude, and then police set him and his wife outside their house for 5 hours while they searched their house. It's like, you're doing this to a guy that has a fucking squirrel who saved hundreds of animals.
And let's also put this disclaimer out. This is like we all learned about this hours ago at time of recording, so it's like there's probably a lot of more information that's going to come out. I wouldn't assume it's good for the government, but
It's
this
overreaching.
is based on very little knowledge we have right now. But
that's a politician in Brandon right there. He's like, guys, I'll cover my basis right now for everyone.
You sound like me. Always wait for the context to come out.
Yeah, which is smart.
But this is one of those where it's like
the squirrel ate men.
I was like,
oh god, it was an evil squirrel.
I don't see the squirrel like, fucking a child or anything, dude.
The Chomo squirrel.
No, then they would have let him go. It's New York.
Oh shit! It gets less as a punishment.
Sorry, the squirrel should have someone.
Now it has to register itself.
Fuck, man. You know, it sounds like the beginning of John Wick. I'm just saying, like, you know, somebody fucked up a squirrel, and like,
that's how you make John Wick.
That's how you create John Wick, right there.
I'm picturing American History X. They're just telling the squirrel to bite the curb.
Oh my god, dude. Dumb.
Don't do it. I just heard it. I don't know. Don't do it. She's like, here, just in case you didn't know.
The last thing you see is Edward Norton in his underwear, and then a squirrel squeak.
Oh my god.
All right.
You know, every time I'm on this podcast, I'm like, this is the one that's going to get it canceled. You guys just try and one up it every single time.
Yeah. That was my first. No, I was saying that was my first 9 episodes, and it hasn't happened yet. So they've tried.
What number are we on right now?
So, what number did we release?
185.
185. Well, hey, look, we're still here.
I mean, I talk about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict all the time, and I'm just waiting to get canceled. So.
Well, dude, I have actually part of it is I wanted to talk about the North Korea shit, which is wild, and also that dealing with modern politics, or at least wars, and then the pushback and that flux you get from both sides, because you're like, you're just presenting information, and you are still an asshole for doing it.
Yeah, but I get off on it.
This is why we get along.
I have a question in that regard, because in the very beginning of the Russian-Ukraine war, your videos were almost exclusively what I watched. Because when that first kicked off, in the first 2 weeks before we realized, this is just going to be another forever war. I've seen this before.
He never watches my videos, if that makes you feel better.
I actually do now. I do now. Okay, USA versus XYZ.
Yeah,
I love it.
We're getting there.
Especially the Z.
Oh, the Z, yeah, fuck. I got to redo that one now, thanks.
But when it was first kicking off, I was watching a lot of your videos because it was very interesting to me. Because I'm looking around, I'm like, does anybody realize how close to World War III we are? This is a big deal.
Dude, first of all, that means a lot, because not to S your D too much, but love watching your videos on all. Big inspiration for a ton of the stuff that I did before that.
I didn't know you knew who I was, so that was kind of cool.
Absolutely. Actually, one time I referenced you very briefly in a video as a joke in a positive way. And always have loved. No, I'll send it to you. It was a good thing. It was a good thing. But
he just got used by InfoWars.
I was trying to. I did. Yeah. Check out our appearance on InfoWars. We're on there now. Unless you're a globalist or an elitist, probably not like it.
And that broadcast Saturday 76 will commence again if you don't watch Task and Purpose.
I love it.
But so actually, it's funny you bring that up, because I feel as though I want to say in the beginning of the war, we all knew so little about what was happening, and I got so much wrong about I've learned so much since then about how to talk about conflicts at that scale, because I have my experience of what Iraq was like, and we know what like coin operations and counterinsurgency is like, and it's such a different animal from like a high intensity near peer warfare, and it's a very different way you have to talk about it. And I realize now that like the war in Ukraine, it's so much better to talk about those things in terms of, you know, how like the CIA actually talks about it, or how like the FSB talks about it in Russia, which is likelihoods. So it's more, I talk about things more like now saying,
So you hedge.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, no, legitimately.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you have to, because even the top intelligence agencies hedge because they know that there's so many variables that go into a war of that scale that trying to predict them, it's almost more meaningful to say, hey, because North Korean soldiers are deploying to Kursk in Russia, it is highly likely that it will have an impact on the battle in Kursk. And so when I first saw the invasion of by Russia, I talked about things more in like an absolutist point of view. So I've learned a lot since then about like, yeah. And so to me, I've always learned, my family always told me that like talking about politics is impolite, and I agree. But my way around it now is like talking about geopolitics is a little bit easier, because American interests are the same kind of like almost no matter who is in office. So I at the channel, I talk about it from like a point of view of just American interests.
because that's what I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit, because, and I'm sure the comment section will tell me I'm wrong if that is the case, but I feel like you come at it from a relative impartiality, where like you're not playing left-right politics. You're just kind of like, hey, this is what's happening. They're here. Their best move is this, but they're probably going to do this. And that's kind of your breakdowns.
I try to be upfront about my bias. Okay, so we're from like the same generation. I'm 35. Like we're all around that age, right? Mm-hmm. So we grew up with.
Excuse me. The young,
are we sniffing? Can I?
Just the young ones. That's him.
Still 28.
Sniff the young ones. Brandon.
You smell good. You smell good.
Thank you, buddy.
Okay. The point of what I wanted to say real quick was just like, I grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh, listening to like, what do you call it? AM radio. And I loved it. And I felt as though I wished a little bit more that in the media, people would just be upfront about like where they're coming from, because I feel as though everyone has a bias and a point of view. So I've tried to approach it from, hey, I'm gonna put my cards on the table. Like, yes, I am pro-American, but also I'm gonna tell you
Racist.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. And you would be
heard it
surprised
here
how many people
first.
listen to this.
To ask your purposes, racist. Your face pops up. You're like, no.
Only against the one type.
Hello, New York Times.
You know the type.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Yeah. So like, short answer, I try to be impartial.
We gotta get Eli back. Give us a minute.
That got me. That one got me. I want to know what race you are. I want to call you a slur.
How do I insult you?
I would like my slur to land, please.
A second slur has hit Tower 2.
Shit.
Dude,
Weird.
Don't steal my job.
No slur hit Tower 7. That's crazy.
Well, we got the first 10 seconds of the podcast.
Steel?
We're not sure if a slur hit the Pentagon.
Based on surveillance video. No slurs of it. All right,
Jesus Christ. Let's deviate this combo.
Sorry, he was making a very, very actual intellectual point.
And then I was like,
Racism.
sorry. I apologize for that.
We back? All right. Continue, please.
Yeah. I was saying.
Yes.
Yeah. My whole approach has been like to try to be as unbiased as possible, because I feel like you reach more people that way. Because I think I hate preaching a little bit. I hate preaching to the choir sometimes. So, which is like a double-edged sword. It's like a Final Fantasy VII sword, where
Buster Sword.
Fucking weirdos.
Is that what this is?
That's the Dragon Slayer. We used to have the Buster Sword.
I want to touch it. But
Touch it. You can touch
Can
it.
I?
Yeah, touch it. Lick the tip.
That is the Dragon Slayer.
Okay.
Bigger than the Buster Sword.
Yes. Anyway,
I'm
I
proud you
will
know the
notice-
Buster Sword. I'm
All right,
happy now.
you misdirected yourself on that one.
Yeah.
So
I forget where I was. even.
technically
But
I did, 'cause
I'm
I
a couple
high-fived.
of sips of Rip It Deep. And
But I will notice, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, my job is more of the comedy aspect. And I know where my place is in the scheme of all this is I make a joke about something using a little bit of facts, a little bit of artistic liberty. But I've noticed that a lot of people will see that and be like, well, what is he talking about? And then they go and they find your type of content or something along those lines where they're like, okay, now I'm educated on what's going on. So like mine, ultimately, I just kind of filter in, but I've also realized that not so much just like your own individual bias, like, America First or this, whoever you promote, it's oftentimes your perspective can differ based off of like past experiences. So like my brain works in a tactical sense. So like tactically, $200 billion, 0 American lives to reduce 95% of Russia's pre-war military. That's a tactical decision, and that makes sense to me. But then there's people who look at it, let's say, from a political perspective, or like, Americans are not, they're struggling to get funding during hurricanes and stuff like that. And it kind of pits some of us against each other a little bit in that aspect, because I look at it through a tactical perspective. You look at it maybe a little bit more political. You look at it through a law enforcement perspective or something along those lines. But that can also be a huge difference there. So
anytime my perspective gets labeled political, I'm like, oh, no, I just thought it made sense.
I've actually, to your point, I know a lot about you guys and the viewership out there. YouTube sends us analytics, and I've seen how.
Are you becoming the Joker right now?
I see.
Yeah, no, well, I can see
these analytics.
I can see that.
You want to know how I got these stats?
My analytics taste like iron.
No, I've seen that our viewers are shared amongst everyone here. I've seen we share audience. The YouTube tells us that.
Oh, yeah, it's
so
like,
it sends us
related
through
channels.
Yeah, there is like what do you call it? Like a filter through, basically.
Yeah. I share a
all
lot
of
with
us.
Nick, the Fat Electrician. I share a lot with him. I don't think I've ever seen Brandon's name pop up in my like shared.
It makes sense you
Definitely
guys
seen
are tied,
Brandon.
though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, cross-pollination, and it shows, like, if you don't know this, analytics will show you, it's like, hey, related channels. The host, because the other hosts are fucking killing it in life, it's like, oh yeah, and then we use their names, their titles, their tags in our own section. That also helps populate your algorithm.
Look at him skim away
To the point of like, not to make it political, but it's definitely true that aid to Ukraine, like, so I'm kind of for it. I'm into it. I feel it. But at the same time, I feel like people who pretend like it's not, that there's no cost to it, that like it doesn't take away from things in America, like that's a little bit naive.
True.
If you're going to spend a shitload on the military and you're going to spend on foreign aid, like, it's going to take away from America.
Friendly reminder, the United States gives more foreign aid to everybody else in the world than everybody else in the world combined every year.
Right.
Yes.
We just gave $1 million to Vietnam. I don't know if you guys know that.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
for the hurricane. Yeah.
That's something that, like, and I'll put this out there as somebody from like an opposite perspective who doesn't like a lot of Ukraine funding and things like that. And like, yes,
This is actually good.
Probably
Yeah.
one of the best arguments I've ever heard in favor of that. It's like, okay, if we're spending so much on defense spending, it's to weaken our strategic enemies. And if we can do that without spending any American lives, like, I totally understand. And not only that, but a lot of our weapon systems that we currently have been built with the idea of taking out the weapon systems that, for the first time in human history, are in play. And we can see how those weapon systems do against those, like, Russian tanks, Chinese, like, stuff like that.
We have
like
learned
equipment.
so much.
And while I don't agree with it necessarily to a degree of like, hey, let's not maybe spend $500 billion doing that, I understand the argument. It makes sense to a degree.
So let me reduce that argument even further, because like, here's what I'll say about it is that it's not even like $1 trillion. It's 26 billion that, in terms of like cold hard cash, that we're sending to Ukraine over 3 years. it's 26 billion.
But factoring in equipment and everything.
Right. So then you have to factor in how much does the equipment cost, which is equipment that we were going to like get rid of anyway and offload anyway. And it actually costs more to hang on to. But I wouldn't even look at it in terms of like weakening the enemy, because to me, that's a weak argument. Like, let's weaken the enemy. That to me isn't even worth it.
That hurt. All right.
I mean, well, no, sorry. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
Dude, this is my
Sorry, the only thing that you argued is fucking bullshit.
I'm
Still,
the best part is all the difference.
No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
No,
even
you're
mean-
good, dude. I'm fucking.
Didn't mean it that way.
This is great. I
a
love
couple
this.
of claws
To me,
deep,
that
and I'm-
sounds like somebody that is a homosexual.
Yeah,
but,
that's
Like, oh. No,
Wait,
but it's
did you
good.
see my Grindr profile? Is that what's happening right now?
I was wondering
Now the
why
military's
my
coming
phone
out.
was
Did
going
we
off.
match?
I was holding up.
So far, he hasn't seen any women on there, but he's holding out hope. You know?
Turn left in 2 feet. Fuck.
Stop kissing. No, but it is good. You have like difference of opinions. You shaking your head no to what Brandon is saying is, look, we're not killing each other crazy. But expand onto what you're talking about. Like, break that down. 'Cause you got
So, to
different
me,
opinions.
it's more about, to me, if I'm going to be honest with you guys right now, can I?
Okay. Love it.
I'm going to say that I don't mean this. Can I say that I don't mean this? But like, America is an empire. It is an empire. We're an empire, guys. Like, we are a friggin' empire. We are everywhere. We have bases, 800 bases all over the world. We are an empire. And what happens to an empire when we retreat? When an empire retreats, when an
Creates a
empire
vacuum.
is like, I'm done, like I'm out. And so you look at the British Empire when they were unable to protect the Suez Canal. When you look at the Dutch Empire when they fell apart. When you look at the Ottoman Empire. Any empire that's unable to protect their foreign interests, they fall apart. And what happens to them after that is that their currency falls apart. And their currency is usually like the reserve currency of the world. And right now the dollar is the reserve currency. So my argument is that if we are an empire, which
We are.
I feel like we're an empire, if you let that fall apart, to me, I look at foreign aid like as an insurance policy. It sucks to pay your car insurance. I hate paying my car insurance. But when I need to get into the left lane and I cut that guy off and I hit him and it wasn't my fault, officer, but
This got real.
God damn it, I totaled my BMW and
God damn it, Tammy, I just want to see my kids.
This just got real serious.
guys, we are an empire, okay? And if we don't invest in this empire and it falls apart and the dollar dies, we are in trouble.
Can I counter that on
Yeah,
top?
absolutely.
There's also a difference between an empire, well, acknowledging that we are an empire versus what we should be doing. Should we be an empire? Should we be spending all this money in these foreign places versus should we be structuring our entire economy? And if we're going to be stealing money from the average American taxpayer to fund certain things, is that where it should be going? Or should we be strengthening our own economy and establishing the dominance of the dollar through peace and trade versus through foreign interests that have nothing to do with us?
Dude, that's the multi-billion-dollar question, because you're absolutely right. This is what I think no one can prove, which is that what is more beneficial from the American interest point of view? Like, is it more? So we gain. I think we can
we both
agree.
see the other side.
I think we can agree that we gain a lot by having so many people dependent on us. For instance, like Europe is dependent on us for security, and we get a lot for
Proved
that.
that a couple times.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Back-to-back champions.
So what I'm saying is, like, we get a lot for that. We're able to use sanctions we're able to use our money as a weapon. Our money is like more powerful than a bomb. When we use our sanctions, we can kill more people with our sanctions than we can with a bunker buster.
And Geneva bitches less about it when we do it.
Right.
it's
So
really
we
cool.
Looking at you, Canadians.
throw
I hate
so
that.
much weight in the UN, and like we can just around. We do what we want. We're on top. Holy shit. But then there's the other side of the argument, which is like,
I like Cappy.
would it be better?
This is like, because you're breaking down both sides so well. Love it, dude. I love
So
this.
the other side of the argument is that, so we benefit a lot from that. We certainly benefit a lot from being the top dogs. But the other side of the argument, which is that what you're arguing for, is that we would actually benefit more from allocating that money differently, which I don't think you can prove, like, I don't think you can, like, if you're lying if you say you can prove one way or the other. Because, okay, if we were to invest all that money in America instead, it would just change the game radically from how we've been doing it. So to be honest, I can't say.
It's like you say you report on stuff now where it's like, well, it's most likely going to do this, but you don't know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will say from a historical sense, and again, I'm a student of history. I pay a lot of close attention to everything that happens in history. And it sucks. Like, I totally agree with you. We don't want to pay all this goddamn money to keep everybody stable. We don't want to. We don't want to send all this aid. Like, I would much rather, I am a huge, like, person when it comes to, like, take care of Americans. I'm huge on that. But I also understand, like you guys are talking about, taking care of Americans also means taking the fight to the enemy's front door before they come here. I also, like, but historically, whenever we enter into isolationism, which is the early 1900s, and again in the 1930s, a world war broke out. Somebody pulled us in every single time the United States entered into isolationism. Like, we're going to just do our own thing. You guys fuck off.
I'll also put this out there when you're talking about empires. Empires usually fail when they overexpand and they're unable to provide for their own. And that's why they collapse. That's why they retreat. That's why they pull back. Not because they voluntarily pulled back, but because they couldn't, but because they had problems at home.
Yes.
And they couldn't financially afford the empire they built.
So do you want to know what the greatest argument for me was? Actually, I saw it was a tweet that you made, actually, Cody. You were talking about
which tweet was it?
Sorry, I shouldn't say it. Basically what really it was about is like all these people from these hurricane got victims of these hurricanes, and like they're getting $750 or something. I'm like, something is broken here, obviously. Like, if we're unable to provide for our own people, like, no matter what benefit that we get from foreign aid, and I'm for foreign aid, this is someone saying, from the perspective of someone who's for, like, foreign aid, something is clearly broken if we're not also able to, like, provide for Americans.
I did want to, I did want to actually ask about that, because I got caught up, same tweet, because people started tagging me in your tweet about your mom. And it's because I kind of took that hard stance about, like, well, this is where the money is allocating. If you pay attention to the bills, like, the vast majority of it goes right back into the U.S. economy. Like, we're paying ourselves for our own shit. And shout out to Zach, veteran with a sign. Love that dude. I called him and we had a long conversation. He's like, sometimes you don't see the forest through the trees. And I was like, what do you, and you know, I took a step back and I looked at all the facts and everything was coming out. And what I had red pilled myself into is the federal government said that they were delivering this. Like, they had a list of things that they were delivering to the American South. But you know what I didn't listen to was the people who lived there and weren't getting it. That's where, like, so I was like, hey, they're taken care of. They got all this shit. And that's when I backpedaled. I was straight up like, I don't normally apologize when it comes to social media, but I immediately backpedaled, like, look, I was wrong. I thought you guys were getting all of this that I saw, and you're not. Like, that's where I had to take a big step back, eat that humble pie, and be like, okay, we fucked up. Something's fucked up.
Eli, have you heard about RAYCON's everyday E25 earbuds? Eli! You must have had the noise cancellation on.
I did.
I couldn't hear anything. Just like I wish I couldn't feel anything.
Oh, you mean these ones? Yeah. And I also thought, whoa, those are the same audio quality as the big guys, but for half the price. But if you haven't pulled the trigger on these little guys, do it.
Plus, they have a 32-hour battery life, meaning your days of raw dogging flights are over. And 10 minutes of charging yields you 90 minutes of battery.
Wait, it has a quick charge function?
That's what I just said.
Also, RAYCON just launched their updated models of the everyday earbuds, weatherproof and or sweat resistant. I actually use these over anything else just because they're tiny every freaking gym session.
I use mine for everyday chores.
Like
ignoring the SWAT team at my door.
Their upgraded model will blow you away.
You're going to be asking yourself why you didn't check them out sooner.
RAYCON offers a 30-day happiness guarantee. So what are you waiting for?
Call to action.
Go to buyraycon.com/unsub to get 15% off of your order plus free shipping.
That's right. You'll get 15% off and free shipping over at buyraycon.com/unsub.
Well, Brandon, let me ask you, do you think that, okay, you made a great point. It was like when empires overextend.
Yeah.
Do you feel like maybe we're like overextended at this point?
I feel like when we can't afford to pay the interest on the debt we've already borrowed, we are hyperextending. And the people that are paying the price are the people that are paying the price of inflation, radical inflation. We're continuing to borrow money from our enemies. We are weakening ourselves. And the one thing that we have going on in the global economy is the American dollar, the USD. And when you have things like BRICS, like alliances of Brazil, Russia, India, China, like our enemies are actively forming against us right now economically. And our number one priority is weakening the American dollar to pay for an empire we can't afford. I feel like that's an issue. And I feel like we need to be spending that money here at home and cutting costs and figuring out how we raise our, start American growth all over again. That to me is a bigger priority, is figuring out how to grow American jobs, how to grow. I feel like I'm back on the campaign trail right now, and it's really giving me PTSD a little bit. But
This is like I came for the cum and I stayed for the geopolitics.
Where do I vote for you? How do I?
Let me interject one thing before you jump on that. And this is conspiracy theory. I've stated this before. Conspiracy theory. I have nothing to back this up. No facts.
Freaking globalist.
A lot of people are talking about like World War III. Do you think right now it has already started just economically and not militarily?
I think it's been started since the end of World War II.
All right.
With the slow,
Financially speaking?
Yeah, I'll prescribe to that because
not militarily, like financially speaking.
I was going to agree. I mean, I would even say militarily, especially with... Russia. So when North Koreans were deployed to Russia, that then...
Which we didn't even talk about that at all. I want to hear you fucking talk about this.
So that tied in... The CIA believes that there's 13,000 North Koreans, which is the largest conventional deployment of troops to Europe. There's no historical precedent for it, really. When you look through history, like North Koreans or Asian troops on the European soil, there's really no...
Remember the last time?
This is the battle with Ukraine and Russia. Just to touch base, this is... Even in their pamphlets, as you're saying, they are now putting it in North Korean for... hopefully to grab defectors and be like, hey, yo, what's up? If you come over here, you get 3 hots in a cot, we won't do anything. And North Korean soldiers know how shit it is. So if they hear that, it is the idea. It's like, hey, if you surrender, we'll take care of you on this
They
side.
put them on a cargo ship. They shipped them to Vladivostok. They put them on the longest railroad trains. I saw a comment on one of the videos I did, and it was like, these troops went from not seeing anywhere outside their country to suddenly being on the longest railroad track in the world.
Well, maybe they're just backpacking to find themselves.
That is a journey of self-discovery. Oh my God.
Oh my
Imagine the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, North Korea.
The Sisterhood of the Traveling XXXS Pants.
This is an autistic episode. I love it so much.
The prerequisite knowledge for half the jokes on this podcast.
I'm so happy right
They're
now.
in. They are so deep, these jokes. Then you need to be in. You need to be on the in.
It's crazy seeing that, like, because I didn't even know that was going on. You brought that up recently, and then you were talking how many defectors maybe have happened at this time.
The interesting part is that it's already like Russians are complaining about, how do we integrate these guys? We've only got 3 interpreters for every 30 of them. Like, so what Ukraine is basically intercepting their radio transmissions, and they're already seeing what the Russians are saying, and the Russians are already like derogatorily referring to them as the Chinese. They're already like not down with it. Because I remember when I was in Iraq, like we had the Iraqi force with us, and we didn't always refer to them politely. But my point is, no, but it's crazy. But we're not even like thinking about how crazy it is, because it is involving the Pacific in the European conflict. And it's like, then at the same time, also the Middle East is popping off, and it's kind of, so to the normie, to the regular war enjoyer.
That was really drawn out.
Did you say that in British?
Are you guys not from New York? You might look at that and think like we're in World War III, but also I would also like to remind everybody that there's other points in history where, the Korean War, you could look at that and also think, wow, World War III is about to pop off from that perspective, because you had, China was literally fighting U.S. troops, UN troops. It was almost hotter back
Vietnam
then.
with the French and the like.
Right, and also the
Trail.
Berlin, like the East and the West, the Soviet Union versus the West was way hotter too. So, it's bad right now, but also there's hope.
However, the casualty list in the last 2 years.
It's
In terms of them, Russia and Ukraine.
Russia and Ukraine, yeah.
Yeah,
like that's
it's brutal.
It's pretty brutal compared to most conflicts. And if you're adding now to the fact that, like, okay, America is, whether you want to say directly or indirectly involved, we're there. And now the Asian continent is getting involved. It's like, all right, well, we're brewing all the ingredients right now. The biggest question is, like, how do we non-escalate?
So I try to a little bit sometimes put myself in the shoes of like someone in Poland, and
I love the Polish.
right? They're beautiful people.
Oh, I love the Polish.
God bless them. So what would we do so the distance between, I'm going to get this wrong, but I think it's like, what is it? The distance between Warsaw and the front lines is as if you were traveling from here to North Carolina. I think, sorry, from New York to North Carolina. I believe it's about
They
that.
also got that little slice, what is it, Kaliningrad or whatever?
If you ask Tony Gonzalez, not far.
Imagine though you're driving 8 hours. You're like, man, it's a beautiful Sunday. You want to go see war, and you drive 8 hours to a frontline conflict.
You wouldn't even have to trade off unless you were like, you can't even like do an 8-hour drive. Come on, that's like
It's crazy as the capital of a first world country.
Yeah.
I say that because I couldn't.
But yeah, no, he's absolutely right. Like Poland has been arming to the fucking teeth. Like, and I don't know where they're getting all this money from, but Poland is the most like militarily expansive and explosive country that I've ever seen. Like compared to everybody ever.
Well, I've made this joke on the podcast before, but I'm like, for like 50 years, their country didn't exist.
Yeah,
because
that's fair.
of people. Basically, they are the fucking. If you have two pit bulls playing tug of war, that's Poland.
Yeah,
Brandon, I think we could probably, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like we could probably agree that like those European countries, it'd be nice if they paid more towards their defense.
Well, I think that's where a lot of the America First movement kind of like gets irritated with that, where it's like, you guys are way closer to the conflict, and the United States is one of the few countries that actually
donates,
completes their agreement to NATO.
Was it 2.5% or something to
Which
NATO?
it should be
of
4.
GDP.
Yeah, of GDP.
Yeah.
And we
where
do,
it's like we do like 3.5.
yeah, we're right behind. Estonia was the top of their GDP, and then Poland, and then us.
But that, like, most of the countries in Europe that are part of NATO don't give a fuck. They don't contribute. They don't, because you're supposed to be contributing a certain percentage of your GDP toward military defense per year.
But their flip side is, or one of the issues that was raised was there's no punishment for not doing it, right?
I mean, well, we haven't so far.
Now most of them reach 2% at this point, but the thing is 2% it really should be 4%. So that's kind of the goalpost is moving. But
I think Estonia spent almost 10%. Like, it's crazy high what Estonia spent. I mean, but Estonia's right there.
They're
with
right on
fucking
the front.
Poland. Like, they're. I think Estonia borders.
Estonia is the battered women's shelter of the USSR.
Yeah,
like,
it's
that's
fucking.
I get why they're fucking upset.
I think America should
Why is
spend
Russia
like
boss
30,
shadow
imagine
boss?
if we spent 30%, the toys we could have. Wait, is that not?
We love it. We just get a.
It's important to
not-
note that right now America is designing, let me see, 3
We
or
could have,
4
like, a
different directed
starship.
energy weapons.
We could have
have
a Death Star.
Yeah.
I think.
We could have a Death
You're
Star.
just like, let's invest more into this. I want
Cappy's-
some dope equipment.
Cappy's
that
in the
not
early
the-
afternoon. He's like, man, I want super DARPA.
Listen to me. Here we go. What about a super dark?
Give me that shit from Aliens.
Just
What
take
if-
Skunkworks and DARPA, put them together. We call them Scarpa. Let's make some shit happen.
We have Skunkworks flags.
Can I
Really?
propose
It's
an idea?
awesome.
Can I propose? What if? Okay, what if though?
I'm loving these what ifs. Let's do it.
So one of my favorite things we used to do in the military when we were on guard tower duty is we do would you rather?
Oh, okay. That was
Which
like,
I love a good would you rather.
I thought we were about to talk about war crimes.
Okay.
What
Would you
if?
rather kill an innocent civilian? No. What
or
if,
do an extra shift.
That's an easy answer.
I was gonna say, I was like, pow. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Technical difficulties.
No, I was gonna say, what if
Happy Veterans Day, everyone.
Everyone's like, God damn right.
This is the best episode I've ever been on. They just keep the tier keeps on going up.
Oh, I fucking love it so much.
What if?
I was gonna say, this is what no one thinks of though, but like, what if we joined forces with China? It'd be like if the rebels and the
Empire.
Imperial Army joined forces,
And we just
like, no, who
created
could stop us?
weapon. I get what you're going at.
Right?
Where
Like,
it's
who
like,
could
what-
stop us?
Well, we wouldn't have access to graphics cards for a while.
Oh yeah, we would.
No, they're jumping off. Oh, yeah, you thought about that.
Oh yes.
We'll just take Taiwan
I
right
have
off.
a Complan 9999. And it is, we join forces with China, Xi Jinping. If you're out there,
Why you preach it? Unsub is the reason these two nations joined. No.
they can't stop us. Europe can't stop us. The Pacific can't stop us. All right?
That's it. This episode. Happy Veterans Day, world domination. That's
It all started with us.
You play too much Risk, my boy. Listen, just hear me out.
For real. Oh my
So
god.
fuck France.
All I'm saying,
Connecting.
come on. France, what's their GDP every year? Come on. China and us, we would be unstoppable.
But there's whole like that.
I don't like where you're going.
There's that whole like human rights aspect of us teaming up with China, man.
feelings.
Fuck.
Xi Jinping, you know
Dude, I wish Nick was here.
Oh, he's feeling it right now.
Could you play?
Your phone's gonna ring. There's a disturbance in the force.
Could you please say "search your feelings" in an Asian accent?
So what's your feelings?
Four vets and one active duty service member.
Oh my God, you got to search the feelings, you know? Got to use the four. Okay.
Oh shit.
I like how that started. Man, North Korea is fighting with Russia. And that's where we
I
ended.
feel like we didn't even talk about the implications of that.
We'll go back now.
It's the same thing with the Korean War. We're just going to send in some Marines that are going to farm them for XP. That's what it's going to be.
That's what the fuck we do. To me,
Like, Nick. Like, Nick, how do you feel about this? Oh, if you actually just called Nick and be like,
We're
hey,
doing
these
it.
two joining forces.
Because our boy is currently recovering
buddy.
from titty surgery.
We're on the podcast. We're on the podcast. Should the United States team up with China?
For what?
So I'm making the argument. Nick, hi, it's Chris, Cappy. How are you?
What's up?
First of all, thank you for inviting me on.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, how dope would it be if we joined forces with Xi Jinping and we just ran this shit?
The iPhone 17 would actually be cool.
We love you, buddy. We miss you.
That was a better response than I could have asked for.
Oh my god.
Oh, I love
Get
this
guilt-free
so much.
iPhones.
Oh shit.
Holy,
Well, if my career wasn't over before, we're definitely there. now.
so close. I don't even know where to go from there.
God,
That's an olive. To me, that's an olive branch. That's all I'm gonna say is that like that's me reaching out to the other side, and I've talked to them before on Twitter. Actually, I've reached out to
China?
the MSS. It's like the
Yeah.
China's version of the CIA. And
Wait, you
I've
reached out to them, or they like?
No, actually, I'll say this. They retweeted. They dunked on me.
Okay.
Yeah, they dunked on me on Twitter, and they got me pretty good. I'll say they ratioed me pretty nice.
well, it's
They got
amazing
like
what
3
happens
billion.
when you own all the bots.
Yeah,
They got like
yeah. The
3
bot
billion of
farms
them.
were aimed at me, and they got me good. And sometimes, you know what? Sometimes you gotta take the L, and they dunked on me. But
happened?
so I reached out to them after they retweeted me, and they said like, hey, yeah, we're aware of who you are. And I said, can I come out and I'd love to like observe what you guys are up to. Not in a spy capacity.
Okay, I was like, this is sounding a lot.
And he
like
said
a
It's kind of
spy.
crazy because I don't know if there's any other capacity. I'd love to observe what you guys are up to.
You put it that way?
Yeah.
I need to relearn my spy
When I
craft.
put it that way, that was what you said.
Man, it's really
you
cool,
said
man.
what I said back to me. Now it doesn't make sense.
Now that you repeated what I said, I hate it.
He's like a closet communist or something.
Listen here, lady. How fast can you run?
No, but so the CCP is out there on Twitter, and he's like talking about how his family ran like the propaganda arm of the CCP since the revolution of Mao Zedong, and so I'm talking to him and I'm asking him, hey, can I come out and like hang out over there? And he said, due to the geopolitical tensions of right now, no. And so this is my new olive branch is like, guys, let's join forces. Okay, we've got like the last 10
How are you
years.
doing it on that? Like, here's the olive branch. Unsub is offering an olive branch.
All I'm saying is the last 10 years of Marvel
gotta go.
movies.
I know. But it's a great.
Hold on.
Team up?
I might be able to bring this one back.
What has the Avengers been leading to?
Yeah. Captain America, Iron Man, U.S., China. That's how we fucking get there. Okay, so hang on, but what
Am
about
I
this?
wrong?
Let me caveback that there, because we don't do caveat or piggyback. We say caveback where I'm from.
I love it.
We're going to caveback that, and I think that this could happen as long as we have an alien invasion. Alien invasion, we team up right there. That would be it. That would be.
I think the entire world teams up at that point.
Like,
That's
it's time to show.
The premise behind like every alien movie ever. It's,
Dude,
they're trying to make humanity like come like.
You know what's
together.
crazy though?
Humanity
A common entity.
Yeah.
They're trying to make them come. Okay.
We're like, no aliens.
We should just pick somebody who really. Can we just pick somebody who really sucks, like Carl? Just like, God, instead of why do we need an alien invasion? Let's just find someone who really
It's
sucks.
just so world rallies against one random dude. Yeah. That poor guy's like, what did I do? I posted a video of me wrestling. Get him. Yeah. Just everyone hates. It's just.
I've been finding these.
The aliens are like they killed the squirrel.
Yeah.
Dude, I found these.
That's when the aliens get involved.
On the rare occasion I scroll through my TikTok, I don't know if you guys have seen these. You ever seen the ones that's like some dude doing a Minecraft jumping puzzle in the background, and they just take an AI voice and like read a story?
Yeah.
Dude, but why has no one fucking made this? In every single alien versus human movies, the aliens are always OP and the humans suck. But
Yes,
like these
that makes
stories are all written as if like humans are like the barbarians of the cosmos. And it's really cool. Like there was one that was like, this is when we learn not to mess with the humans. And they like abducted like 3 or 4 humans. They're like, take these and see if you can turn them into weapons. They're like, they say that humans are super resourceful. And like humans came up with all these new weapons from like random shit that they found. They're like, these guys are dangerous. Like, what the fuck are these things? And like, why don't we have any movies like that where just people show up and humans are like, okay, we're gonna fuck you up now. We're gonna just completely exterminate you and show you who is in. Maybe that's 40K. That might be. I'm not a 40K guy. Maybe that's how 40K happened. We're just like, we're in God's image and I'm gonna murder you.
As I always say, technologically, if they can travel here, they're going to butt rape us, no matter how you look at it. If they've made it to Earth, they're like, oh, you're still at nukes. That's cute.
So, okay. I mean, everything I've heard about the aliens is that they're already here.
Everything he's heard, everything he knows.
Okay.
Right now.
They're already here.
We've gone from zombies to warfare to North Korea to
You
aliens.
guys-
I love this. This is the best episode.
You guys are talking crazy.
I love
They're
how
already here. They're under the water, guys. They're under the water. They've been here for eons.
Are you talking about Mexicans or what?
no, those ones swim. Now you got me.
Wait, there's Mexicans hiding in the water?
You're calling me a what back?
Under the water? What? Where are you going with this?
I love how like the government came out about it, right? Like right as everything was just civil unrest was all crazy, and the government was like, "Hey, aliens are real," and everyone's like, "I don't give a." There's some shit going on over here. Like nobody gave a f.
Look at the mass deportation that happened under, I believe it was Eisenhower.
Really? I didn't even know that happened.
I was like, oh, God. Eisenhower, I believe it was. It was 1953. Operation...
Please tell me it's something super racist.
It's Operation...
Are you fucking kidding?
I'm dead serious. I mentioned this on the campaign trail because it was just the funniest thing in the world to me.
I believe it's a thing.
I cannot tell
I don't
if you
want
were
that in my
joking
Google
right now.
search.
No,
or
I'm
not.
dead fucking serious. It like I joke around. People are like, "You can't do mass deportation." I'm like, "Oh, we've done it before,"
Eli,
and
is
it
that a
had
thing?
It is an actual thing. Operation was an immigration law enforcement initiated and created by Joseph Swing, retired United States Army Lieutenant General. 1954 in June.
I was
when it
1 year
happened.
off.
Oh my god, dude.
The short-lived operation used military-style tactics to remove Mexican immigrants. Cool,
guys,
I just like they're like, hey, we gotta remove the Mexicans. We'll call it.
You guys want-
Call Operation. It's way less racist. Roll it out.
We were way more on the nose.
Oh my god. And like the fact that it specifically targeted Mexicans and it's called Operation.
It was a different
the
time.
photo
Eli.
is way worse. It is just Mexicans
Yeah.
in a fucking pig pen.
God, dude.
Guys, I have a great. Can we collaborate on a video? I got a great idea. I got a great idea for a
We
video.
got the actors.
Oh my god. Well, you're gonna need prison guards, so I guess me and Cody. Are
My
in.
favorite part was like as soon as they got millions of Americans back from Europe at the end of World War II, they're like, "Oh, that was fucking easy." All eyes turned to Mexico. Like, wait a minute.
Oh my.
What?
One of my favorite things like throughout history when it comes to like the United States is okay. I'm gonna be real with you. We have committed genocide, like everybody has, okay, but we exterminated like a lot of natives, like 250 million, like a lot of natives. And I love how like we backpedaled in World War II. We're like, hey,
250 or 25?
can you speak that language that no one else speaks?
How many millions?
I want to say it's 225 million. It's like,
If it's 250, that's not okay.
Yeah, I would be
If
like
it's
about
25,
22 million about that time.
I swear
Gotta
it was
break a
like
few
in the
eggs.
200 category.
Because
Anyways.
at that time of the United States, like that's like where that's
Really?
like
Okay, I could be
population
wrong.
drops.
I could be wrong. I could have swore it was over 200.
Guys, it was only 25.
But I just love how the U.S. backpedaled and was like, hey, can you speak that language that no one else in the world speaks on a radio for us, calling tanks turtles and shit? And like they were just like, yeah.
Even
fuck
better,
it.
put Nick Cage in it.
Now paint them brown.
We were just talking about how bad that was.
That movie was not good.
Every once in a while, I like about once a year, I like to call it I get into the cage.
The Cage.
What I call, and I just watch like a shit ton of Nick Cage movies.
But some
I
of
call
them
it
were
getting
great.
into the cage.
Willy's Wonderland, brother.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Which
I'm
one's
so happy
that?
with this.
It was the like
It's
five
such a
Nights
good.
at
It's all over the
Freddy's.
place.
Oh, I didn't see
Willy's
that one.
Wonderland?
No, I didn't see that one.
It's bad. Don't watch it.
That means I need to watch
It's
it.
good. Yeah, like it's good if you like that.
Are you,
the title.
okay, no. Are you okay? So, The Rock or Con Air?
Con Air 100%. I love The Rock. So this is a great.
That hurts.
That is a difficult
Chris, that
question. Will you really like
The Rock more
better?
than Con Air? Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong.
I
put
like
the bunny
Con
back
Air
in the
because
box. It's
his
great.
hair is just absurd, and every
That long.
instance is just out of control.
But
What do you like about
the
Rock?
monologue? Okay, let me just hit you with this monologue. We've been arrested by a bunch of pain for pleasure-seeking psychopathic Marines. I love that monologue.
Oh
That's
my
one
God,
of
you're
my
right.
favorite monologues ever.
We never got any
You're
gifts
right.
from The Rock.
That's fair. Oh no!
What's the big gift from?
What in the name
Con
of
Air?
Zeus's butthole? We did get that
whole
gift from
thing.
The Rock.
Which one?
When he's like, how in the name of Zeus's butthole did you get out of your cell? Zeus's butthole. We got that from
I haven't seen that.
The
You're gonna
Rock.
have to send
I
that
love
to
the
me.
idea that like you're a military man, so you know when he's in court in the beginning, and it's like you would be held to a higher standard, and I'm watching, I'm like, that's ridiculous, that's bullshit.
You're a trained
but I
killer.
don't give a fuck. This
He's
is
an Army
amazing.
Ranger.
Yeah.
He's deadly with his hands. That's why he got
He's
convicted.
fighting 8 people, one with a knife, and they're like, "Well, you're an Army Ranger."
Your registered weapon, you killed one of them.
In reality, it's like you kill 3.
Of course. And I just want to get home to my wife.
But I
That was
will
the
say,
original John Wick.
I watched Con Air, and then I watched an interview with Nick Cage, and apparently one of his most requested, like when he meets people in public, they're like, "Can you say?" Apparently everyone has that catchphrase. His is "Put the bunny back in the box." which is apparently his most requested saying. Yeah. From Con Air.
That movie's what, like 25 years old now? I hate thinking about that, dude.
Oh my god, it was a good movie though. Like, I mean, those are peak Cage. Like The Rock and fucking Con Air, peak Cage.
I mentioned that I was born in the 80s recently, and someone was like, "What?"
Oh shit! I just like dude. I know we're old as shit.
The amount of actors in that too, dude.
Oh yeah,
you had Danny Trejo, Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle
is fucking in that. Like
he bites it in that. I think.
Yeah,
Buscemi.
Where does he live?
I forgot. Yeah,
Steve
Steve
Buscemi.
And he escapes. But
John Malkovich is the bad guy in it.
I think that's one of Cyrus the Virus is one of John Malkovich's best. Like, no matter what he plays in, he will always be Cyrus the Virus. Like, he plays criminally insane.
Yeah.
Also, can we just point out the fact that there was a movie back in the 90s called Becoming John Malkovich?
Yep. Literally.
Yeah.
Being John Malkovich. Yeah. Where you just like you crawl through a like air vent in your fucking office job and you just become John Malkovich, and he knows this happens.
And everyone's John Malkovich.
That was what the fucking
Charlie
the main character in
Kaufman.
that? No, the main it was
The guy from 2012. Wasn't it like the guy with the boombox? Say Anything.
fucking
John Cusack.
Point
John
Blank.
Cusack.
Cusack.
Yeah,
So it was
Cusack the
written
main
by
guy.
Charlie Kaufman and starring.
I don't know that.
So I have two things that I have a little bit of a problem with, and like I'm obsessed with military, and I'm obsessed with the movies, and those like, yeah.
Welcome to our world. Buddy.
Yeah.
Like people would make fun of me.
we're getting along more and more. I love it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Everyone's like, Cappy fits right in.
People would they would quiz me when I was like on a bus and I was 5, and they would ask me like, "Who's in the Batman movie?" And I would say, "Danny DeVito plays the Penguin," because I just like have a problem.
I forgot about Danny DeVito being the Penguin.
Yeah,
That was
he
a
was
really
OG.
good, like it was a good Penguin.
He's been like a short, fat, old
What's
guy
that?
for
Now
40
he's doing
years.
sub commercials.
Yes. Danny DeVito, and he's the main actor of
Have you guys-
Always Sunny, and he's like, "Hey, this
Yes,
is my
he
job."
is.
Have you guys seen?
Yes, he is.
I love when these nasty, ugly bitches argue with me on Twitter. I always put the Danny DeVito and the Penguin like that good up there. He's just a ball with tiny little twig legs.
Have you guys
I
seen?
was like, with fat, nasty, ugly bitches.
Have you guys seen Red, the Retired Extremely Dangerous?
I
So
just
good.
watched that again the other
with
like literally
John
2 days
Malkovich.
ago.
I think his character in there, like he's still Cyrus the Virus. He just is, but he plays really, really good.
Brother, I'm getting the pig.
I'm getting the pig. Like, and then he just fucking like pins that one woman against the wall, and he's like, "She's a spy. She's been following us," and she's like freaking out. Come to find out, she actually is a goddamn spy.
She was following us. Like, it's got some of the worst gunplay in a movie I've
it's
ever
awful.
seen. Like it's trash.
What was in the pig? It was a thumper, right? Like the
Yeah, it was a 40 millimeter
little
fucking grenade
Ford.
launcher.
It was like an M203 with stock
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, the M79.
Is that
No,
the
it was
six
not.
round?
I
No,
thought
it was
Sweeper.
the one shot one. Yeah, the
yeah,
M79.
it was the
one-shot.
So there's the new one was the M320, which
That's
I
it.
hate.
Really? You don't like the 320?
So I like it as a standalone.
Yeah,
But as
standalone,
an
yeah.
under.
Under, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's fucking gross.
Right.
This podcast has been on a journey, and I fucking love it. Favorite movie, like top. Like if you, I know it's always hard to be like, hey, but if you have like
Some of my favorite-
you have 3, you like usually click.
It was not hard for him. He's
Fight
got
Club. Fight Club is in the top 3 easily. And the book as well, but I would almost argue that the movie is a little bit better than the book in that instance. Other top 3, some of my favorite recent ones would be, I mean, so I'm watching Penguin right now, the TV series. A lot of great TV.
Really
It's
good.
really
I heard it's
amazing.
really
Yeah.
Colin Farrell.
But what about you? What do you, I will think of more as you, what are some of your favorite
Dune,
movies?
probably.
Oh, Dune. Oh, yeah.
Did you like the second one
didn't
though? I
like
couldn't
it.
get into Timothée Chalamet is hot as fuck, and like I mean that in the,
I just like
in
how
the-
confident. See if you Henry Cavill for me. I'm like big age, hot as fuck.
That's
dude's a
gay.
good looking dude.
It's like I don't fuck dudes, but Henry Cavill.
no, but I couldn't get into like this part 2. I don't know what it was, but the first one I really liked.
No shit. The second one was You like the first one more than the second one?
Maybe it was. You ever catch something at like the wrong time and just like not?
Yeah.
I didn't like either
Ready
one of
for
them.
it?
I just
Really?
they seemed half done. Like they just
First
didn't
one I
seem
liked.
complete. Like there was. I mean, I know they're trying to like drag it out for a several movie series. Like cinematics were good. There were some things that didn't really make any sense. Like I got to the end of the movie.
I'll tell you this. Like
Cody will let
the
you
only
know.
reason I enjoyed the Dune series is because I had Cody next to me for both movies in the theater, and he was just explaining to me shit that I would have never known.
I was like, yeah, because I got to the end and I was like, what the f is going on?
They have
Yeah,
delivered
because you
the
can
books that
appreciate
are-
it on a different level if you're like, yeah.
So I grew up reading the books. Like I fucking love Herbert. Like I love those books. And so yeah, when Brandon and I were watching, I'm like, okay, this is why they use knives and why like the shields don't work. And
who's the bitch putting his hand in the box? Like that sort of shit. Like I had no
that's
clue.
a Bene Gesserit, and they're basically space witches that have been around for generations. They control everything.
Yeah, and you have to remember going into these, a majority of directors, and this is top level directors, writers, they're like, this is impossible to make to a screenplay because it is, as Cody will tell you, so much information. You're like, and how many years from 1 and 2 should pass?
Jesus. From the 1 and 2 are directly together. So like when 1 ends, that's when they go out to the desert. So those are together. But then you go to 3, we're about to get into it. That's going to be like another 20 years passes. And then like book 4, it's another like 30,000 years. Like
Yeah.
it's fucking wild.
Well, I will
I'm
tell you
just
this.
like when
that
does he
late-
become a sandworm?
I didn't.
That laid the ground. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I feel as though Dune laid the groundwork for all of like Star Wars to come. Basically,
Absolutely.
None of that would have happened without Dune.
Yeah, Frank Herbert paved the way for like Star Wars and everything to happen.
Yeah,
I
and I've
will-
looked. So I've looked. I like looking into the history of. So when he wrote those books, is an interesting time because you think about like, was he talking about the Middle East or was it kind of like just? It seems as though it wasn't maybe necessarily.
No, he
just
was
this-
talking about the different culture that lived in the sand that declared jihad on the world.
Well,
And the
hold on, when was
spice
it-
is
when was it
not
written?
oil.
'Cause
I always say when
Iran's-
people are like, "You're going to Iraq, you're fighting for oil, it's your blood for oil." I'm like, what else is worth dying for?
Yeah, that's-
It starts our cars.
the Middle East.
As he lands in Iraq, he just dismounted the hind or the
I need
fucking
to
Black
pee.
Hawk.
I need to pee on that.
Go.
I will say the Middle East was.
I just Black Hawks every time you land in dismount.
Dude, you guys would have f***ed up so much shit.
I will say that I think the Middle East was a lot more like cool and chill before Iran's Islamic Revolution. Before that, like, have you seen pictures of Iran in the 70s?
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It looks like the U.S. Like people dress normal, like they're economically great, and then Islamic Revolution, 5,000 people died, and all of a sudden, burqas. Like it was just wild, man. Like they're
They're like people just chilling by swimming pools.
Yeah,
and stuff.
like, it was just a
beautiful women in
complete turnaround.
bikinis and stuff.
yeah,
and it's like God
just
damn.
went straight downhill.
That's why we never liked each other in the beginning. You saw that
That's what it
Lebanese
is.
nose,
Yeah,
and you're just like,
the nose.
"Ah."
But what actually, Cody, I don't know,
pinned me against my car.
because you play video games. Have you ever played? And you can only buy it on. I think you can buy it on disc now. You can't digitally download it. Have you ever played Empire Battle for Dune?
No,
It's a real-time strategy in the Dune universe.
no shit. So it's like Civilization or like Command and Conquer.
More like Command and Conquer, yeah.
Okay.
And I played as, I want to say it was Atreides. They had these big air platforms that had machine guns underneath them. So like by the time the enemy would send in an army, I just f***ed them up the whole way. But yeah, Empire Battle for Dune.
No, dude, I never played
Money.
it.
Yeah, you can still get it in some places. It's pretty cheap, but yeah, you can get it.
You know they're coming out with a new Dune game too, right?
Really? Oh yeah, the open world one. And,
Yeah,
it's like an MMO, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna be like an MMO. Capcom's coming out with.
I'm not a huge MMO fan, but I do like. There are
Funcom.
certain things that I like about it. Honestly, lately I've been just getting into survival games. I fuck with survival games.
What have you been playing?
Lately? So because I'm a bit of a casual, lately I've gotten into. There's 2 survival games that come out. One is called Planet Crafter, where the entire thing is that like there's no enemies. Like the environment is your enemy, but you're terraforming an entire planet. And then the other one is Eden Crafter, which is like Factorio meets Planet Crafter. So I got like conveyor belts going everywhere. It's like a snapshot into my brain. Like everything's just fucking connected. It's nuts. But you have to terraform. Like in Planet Crafter, you're just terraforming the whole planet as one. In Eden Crafter, you have to terraform each individual section. So like you got to run water pipes up to get your fertilizers to run, and you got to run conveyor belts to get this thing to work. Like it's kind of cool.
Dude, I love Factorio.
It's
It's called Factorio, right?
Yeah, it's Factorio where you have all like the different fucking conveyor belts.
Never played.
Oh, dude, you have some enemies that come in. They don't matter though. They're not. It's weird that the enemies in that game are a part of it because you just kill them so quickly.
Yeah,
you just hold down a button and shoot them real quick, and dude, Factorio is fucking wildly fun.
It's like your TISM on steroids because you want to get every efficiency to like the highest level you possibly can. You want everything to be connected. But yeah, Eden Crafter, it's still in pre-release and it's got some fucking bugs.
It's crazy games like that are built to reward people with autism.
It really is. It's
wild.
It's so good.
Chris, you playing any games right now, bud?
Oh hell yeah! I play so many games right now. I'm playing most of the games I play are on PS5. So I like a game that you can like get into and then get out real quick because it's like hard to put the time effort into anymore.
Yeah.
We played a Shroud.
Oh, in Shroud
recently.
By
Which
the way,
I love that game, but like it does take a lot of.
It's a lot of effort.
It's like an investment.
It really is.
You know,
it's another
a
survival
sick
game. It's like it's a survival game, but you can be like a wizard, a paladin. Like there's skill trees and shit like that. There's another update dropping November 5th, and they're opening the whole north.
I was blown away by the game because you could like dig into the ground.
Oh yeah, you can. I built
the games that I normally play are like Warhammer 40,000, where you can just get in and just murk a bunch of bugs.
I haven't
and then,
played
like,
Space
get
Marine
out.
2.
I've heard it.
I heard it was really fun.
Wait, what were you guys talking? What are the games that you like? Command and Conquer, by the way, is like that's an inside joke on the channel because that's like one of my favorite.
So
like,
I crashed.
generals.
I crashed a LAN network in Manas, Kyrgyzstan with Command and Conquer Generals. I was playing with a bunch of my buddies, and it was called Shooters. They had like a LAN network, and I told them I was like, I'm really good at this game. And they're like, all right, well, let's do us versus you. We'll build for 20 minutes. And we ran a timer, and I built and built and built, and they got through like 3 out of my 6 layers. Like they got pretty far, maybe 4 out of my 6 layers. And then I was like, all right, time for a counterattack. And what I found was an area of the map nobody was at, and I just amassed like I was just constantly building troops and sending them that way. So all they saw was a blue blob, like just move across the fucking map. And when I locked horns with the first enemy base, the whole thing locked up and crashed. I crashed the whole LAN network.
What's your go-to, Cody? What's like when you're trying to blow off some steam?
RimWorld.
I haven't played that. Is it actually?
It's fucking brilliant, dude.
What type of game are we talking about?
What type is it?
It's like a base builder type game.
Really?
And you can't tell the characters what to do. You just build the base around them. It's
like Dwarf Fortress.
Yeah,
right?
it's exactly Dwarf Fortress, but in space. Dwarf Fortress, buddy.
Oh, dude, I know. We had entire segments where originally with the podcast, it was going to have segments for Dwarf Fortress because how off the rails that game can go with its primitive AI.
I now know how you felt during the geopolitics portion.
You're talking about Murder Boat? Do you remember talking about that?
Yeah, Murder Boat. Dude, like reading those stories, Cody will attest to this. There are entire stories, and it prints it out as shit is happening in the game. You have it is very much hands off. You're building how you do your base and all these little things, and then it has stories about each character, and every character has a story that is automatically or procedurally generated. And then it reacts to what is going on. So you have the giant story about Cody will tell his. So we have the I forget what it is. It's the queen when she's like giving birth, and it's getting overrun by orcs, and they're like fighting, and dwarves are dying. And then she gives birth to hers and goes into birth to a child, the king, the next king.
Oh, I've heard this story.
And then she pulls the baby out and then uses that as a battle weapon and destroys all the orcs that are rushing in. And that is just one of many stories. And it's talking about her like cleaving heads off with this baby.
Planned Parenthood 40K.
Shit. Oh my god.
And it's just this queen that's like gives birth. Holy.
Dude, have you
welcome to the podcast.
Oh, just wait. And then you have Murder Boat.
Oh, okay. So Murder Boat is a whole story about people took Dwarf Fortress, and they would have, I can't remember the exact specifications of it, but it was one person would have the map for like
24 hours.
24 hours or something, and then we'd pass it to the next person. But the one story I love the most is like one of the dwarves fell in a moat that they had built around their castle, and the orcs like kept falling into the moat. Of course, that's what it was for. It was a defense. But that one dwarf was down there. But that one weak dwarf kept killing all the orcs, and he powered up so much that he climbed out of the moat and was just killing everything on the map, and they couldn't stop him because he was so powerful.
So they collapsed the bridge, and that one dwarf lived, and he lived at the bottom, and he was just killing anything that survived. And then orcs were rushing in, and they fall in there. And there was literally this dwarf that was eating off of dead orc and just killing him. And it finally escaped. And it was just psychotic because you'll go berserk and you have no control. So it's just roaming the land.
He's just a god.
Yeah, murdering everyone.
Born in the darkness.
Dude, that sounds. Have you?
I love that game so much.
I don't know.
You think the moat is your ally?
I was born into it, molded by it. I don't know if you play survival games, but there was another one because you're talking about orcs and dwarfs. So this company, I can't remember what their name is. They launched one. It's called Return to Moria. It's Lord of the Rings Return to Moria, and you play. It's 8-player co-op, by the way. It's a survival game where you're fucking dwarves and you have to explore. The enemies in there, I have it on like 1-player difficulty, which means the enemies are supposed to be easier, and I play co-op and we still get our shit rocked. Like the enemies are so difficult to kill in that goddamn game, but like you're just trudging through underground. You're like, hey, I found a vein of gold. Let's go ahead and harvest this shit. Let's go fight these guys. There's a orc over here that's enormous and shit. I played that one for like a couple days.
I can't wait to watch the viewership drop off of this episode.
Or attention graph is just diving right now.
Wait, what's weird is it's like, oh, they're talking about that one or this. Like, yeah, we're gonna move stuff
And
around.
I can never predict it. Like I always look at the viewership graphs and I'm like, well, I always fuck me then.
Yeah. I pay attention to the retention. Like I live in the analytics of the video. Like YouTube to me, it is my life. It is I bleed YouTube.
I can tell because of the amount of times you've made eye contact, you're doing it on purpose.
Yes.
And that's why I know. I'm like,
it's never natural.
Yeah. we're just gonna
this guy knows his shit with data and analytics.
We're just gonna get over here with you.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi there. I'm good.
And now it's 2 military guys.
I was gonna say, but it's offset by the military perk.
Yeah.
So
sometimes you
now
guys,
he's just gay.
Sometimes you.
Again.
That's like Marine infantry. They're the gayest straight people you've ever met.
I used to win every game of gay chicken that we played. My squad leader said I was the best at it.
Have you ever played with a medic? Medics have no lines, bro.
The amount of medics have to shove in people's
telling you,
asses,
man,
dude,
medics
like
have-
you have no.
I tried
no
playing
line.
gay chicken with my medic. I kissed a grown man, no shame in my game, and he won. Because like he did, I went 90, he went straight up 10, and then he held it. And I was like, that's gross. I can't do that.
Dude, it is a testament to watch. We were talking about this on the drive here. You got really good leadership on analytics and everything in the YouTube space, because we talk about it all the time. With if you just fucking learn analytics and what works and what doesn't, you can go really far in this space. You had really good mentorship where the dude was like, hey, this, and this. And then I didn't realize he controlled a lot.
Oh, I'm so lucky I got to work with. There's this YouTube channel called Donut Media. Huge, like 6 million subscribers.
Cody's like, these are my
Present
Really?
company
No.
not included. No.
So
They stole my fucking tag.
that's what they said. They were like, step number 1, steal somebody's.
like, we're
Just like
taking
if they're
that
better than
motherfucker.
you, just steal their name. That's step 1. No, but like really lucky to have worked with them, and yeah, there's like some things that just are universal that work across whether you're in like the police space, the security space, the defense space, or the car space. There's just some things that kind of work on YouTube. And yeah, I was very lucky to work with the CEO of Donut and learn a lot about like what some of the visuals work. Yeah, just
Well, he was talking about keywords.
certain phrases on YouTube that are, and it's funny because it's like fads. It's the same as in probably like the music industry where there's certain fads. There's certain titles that kind of pop off if you use it is legitimately insane, or is a nightmare, or is worse than you think, or is better than you think.
And then it works until it doesn't.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, well, what's the next thing? And you
Right.
move on to
It's
that.
kind of formats.
That's what's crazy, because we talk about we are boring during a lot of the time. We are working probably way too much. I can't stress how much fun we are lucky. We are blessed to do this, but the amount of work on the back end from a day to day, you're like, oh, this is what we actively talk about and find interesting is like that shit on the drive here. I was like, wait, get the fuck out of here. This is how you go from a 10 to 10 to a 1 of 10, and you get to watch that actively really quickly. He's like, oh, I just switched it to this.
And only if like the content is there.
Yeah.
Because content is God. Content is on fleek. And if the content is not,
You did not just use
I
that
haven't heard
sentence.
on
Yes.
fleek in a while.
and if content is not there, then buy Felicia.
What year were you born again?
Let me marinate in the cringe real quick.
Oh, fucking Rism with the tism.
Skibbity.
Oh, God.
Oh God.
Doesn't that mean shit?
I don't know.
Bye,
Listen-
everyone. Thank you.
I know. You're like, no, stop talking about skibbities.
No, but honestly, like if it, so my point is that if like the video sucks, then it doesn't matter what the title is, doesn't matter what the thumbnail is. But if the video's good and then the title and thumbnail support it and kind of, it's like those things have to confluence together.
Because like you can, well, that's one of the things that the algorithm did that I think kind of defeated clickbait is that if people click on a video expecting one thing, right? Because let's say you have the best title, best thumbnail in existence, but your video sucks dick. It's like if people click away from it in 5 seconds, then it depletes that in the algorithm. It's like, okay, well that's a good thing. Like if your content sucks, then yeah, they're not going to reward you for that.
I tell people all the time because obviously people I work with know what I do on the side, which is kind of like my main thing now because the Army's boring. But anyways, and they ask, they're like, well, how do we do this, and this? And I was like, look, it starts with solid content because YouTube, at least in my experience, has one of the best discovery algorithms that I've ever seen. Like, and I explain it like you ever like go
it's weird
online
when you're
to,
a fucking like $2 trillion company.
Yeah.
Your algorithms are pretty all right.
And like
decently shaped.
You look up how to make like a whiskey and Coke on YouTube, and then all of a sudden 4 hours later you're watching dudes build in the jungle with sticks and like that's the discovery algorithm going ham. Like that's what it is.
What do you guys watch on YouTube? Can I ask that? Has this been asked before a million times?
I actually go for it,
bro. I can't stop watching guys build cabins in the woods.
And it switches.
Dude.
Does your switch like you'll have a month and then
Yep.
for whatever reason a new video that is older, like your old style content you used to watch like months ago would pop back up. It's like, oh man, I really do like that stuff, and then it switches to that new subject for
along
another
along
month.
that rabbit hole. You ever get into stealth camping?
Yeah.
Like guys who are okay.
Oh,
you dudes are my kind of weird. So like I love watching. I forget the guy's name, but he'll like set up stealth camps behind Walmart. And he's like, "This is the best place."
The roundabouts.
If you don't want to get
heard of that.
If you don't want to get caught about the security,
There's a place that will be unnamed, but like
Camping with Steve.
Camping with Steve.
across from
That's
our
probably
brunch
it.
joint that we're just like,
Steve Wallace. Steve
Yeah,
Wallace.
camping with Steve.
can I see? That's probably
Yeah,
it.
Steve Wallace.
This dude will fight like camping in it.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I love everything. It's like all dude, like you're the only one. You're like, what the fuck? And all of us is like camping with Steve, where he's gonna go to this roundabout
And that's
in
only
downtown
that's the
Tacoma.
tip. If we're talking about the iceberg of like YouTube videos, that's the tippy top because there's the weird shit and the stuff that I watch on YouTube. I consume
at the very
so
bottom,
much
you're like
YouTube.
36 views. You're like, I'm camping behind my ex-girlfriend's house.
and the problems with that.
It's me.
That's a really good title and thumbnail.
You're going to get a subpoena from the shit you watch.
Are you even watching YouTube if you're not getting arrested for the content?
It's like watching dudes like rent a U-Haul camper, and it's like it's negative 30 degrees, but I'm gonna camp in this U-Haul.
Yes.
I'm like, why would you do that? But I'm also just drawn into it so much, and I'll watch it all night.
Yes.
I want you to know from this conversation, you guys are going to start like at least 5 new YouTube channels. People are going to be like, stealth camping, getting a U-Haul.
That's going to be the Pokemon evolution of fucking the gang does. It's like the gang camps in negative 10 degree temperatures in a U-Haul.
But okay, this is a one-time thing. I am really miserable right now. I would hate that so much.
For me, it's like a lot of controversy. Like I love police shooting videos. That's a top one for me. Road rage.
Weird algorithm.
Yeah, I like road
Because
rage.
you're Ethan, very white.
Yeah, that's fair. I do like
Skinheaded.
fighting videos. Like people getting into fistfights randomly.
Yeah.
And racism. No, I'm just kidding. Just got me that last one. Don't want that in my algorithm. Yeah. But yeah, that's for me. I've never even heard of stealth camping. Now I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna be upstairs tonight, like in a U-Haul. Like,
Red Letter Media. I watch a ton of that. Love that.
I haven't watched them, and they do. That is OG YouTube.
Yeah.
You're talking about like Phantom Menace. Like when I think that's what put them on the map was their Star Wars series.
But I like their formats of the just. So what I like to do is catch up when they do the right around this time of year. They'll do the like. Here's the last 11 Halloween videos that I watched, and then you get like great recommendations for the stuff to rent on Vudu or not to rent. You know.
Speaking of, do you guys remember Riff Tracks?
Yeah.
Wait, Riff Tracks?
It was like
MST3K.
Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yes.
And then
yeah.
Riff Tracks was the offshoot of it.
Yeah, they started releasing like audios where they would just riff on movies and they would sell the audio that you start the movie and start their soundtrack and play it and it together. It was like just basically audio commentary.
No shit.
They're back.
I've never even
They're
heard
back
of
now.
this.
Mystery they were on Comedy
It's
Central like, all the
hilarious.
time.
I was like, when we're talking like OG YouTube, I go back to like epic rap battles of history, which is, by the way, one of the
Great
reasons I got
stuff.
my first
Oh,
article.
that was a good
15.
one, yeah.
Great stuff.
Totally off topic, but have you looked into the hypervelocity cannon they're designing for air defense?
You're not talking about the Typhon launcher?
No. So what they did is originally they were going to build it looks like a Paladin. They put a longer gun on it. It's still 155, but they instead of using it for artillery, they actually made it radar guided, and it's a hypervelocity 155 shell that's fragmentation.
Yeah, instead of Urka. So
Yes, they got rid of
It was going to be
Urka.
Urka,
Yeah, yep.
but now they changed it to the hypersonic round because they decided, they were like, we don't need to do what China's doing. I was going to say the Chinese, but I'm going to say we don't need to do what
Great
China's
China.
doing. Yeah, I did a whole episode on like the future of artillery in the U.S. Army.
Oh, okay,
And-
we got the Euro. Okay, there we go. Very good laser radar system. American change it though.
Have you guys
not as good? Yeah, no.
Like some of that stuff, like I work directly with artillery guys, so I get a lot of like their know-how. Have you guys ever seen the ATACM actually be used? Like look up any of the video
what?
from it. The ATACM,
ATACM.
which is the what does
Go on.
ATACM stand for? So it's a big missile that has 500 APAM in it, which stands for anti-personnel or anti-materials. Pretty much grenades. 500.
500?
500 of those.
That's too many of those.
So an explosive for
many-
shit.
And like the scary thing is when you see this thing, they got like high def footage of it. You'll see it and it's flying through the air and it opens and then all of a sudden the fins turn and it spins to scatter them, which is terrifying.
That's gnarly, dude.
It's they showed me that. I was like, I am so fucking glad that's on my team. It is terrifying what they can do with those things.
Written on the side in like handwritten paint is "Don't tell Geneva about shit."
The other was that the Gimlers is 161,000 tungsten balls in one explosive. Yeah, like that.
160,000?
161,000. So they range.
Tungsten is the heaviest metal that we have, by the way, period.
They range
heaviest
from
metal we use. But
well, they're
you-
different
yeah,
sizes.
yeah.
So some of them are like buckshot, and the other ones are like 22 caliber, maybe 38 caliber.
Fucking hefty.
well, other than like, I mean, we get like, well,
What's more heavy than tungsten, though?
Depleted uranium.
Yeah.
but it's
DP.
also.
Are you talking about,
talk about the
that's DP? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a tungsten ring. If you put on a tungsten ring compared to like a steel ring, metal, whatever it
Yeah.
is, like it has heft.
The first time
Yeah,
I loaded a
truly.
canister round in an Abrams, so like when you load the round in an Abrams, you push the knee switch, a door that's like an inch thick. That's so like you leave the door closed in case your ammo cooks off and it blow out panels on the top just blast out. It'll ring your bell, but you'll survive. You push the knee switch, door slides open. You have your honeycomb for your ready rack right there. You just release it, and the round literally drops into your hand. And the first time I loaded a canister shell, which is an Abrams version of a 12 gauge, it's 997 3/4 inch tungsten steel balls. They travel at around 6,280 feet per second. Not being specific.
Gunner, canister, 100 yards, child.
Yeah, like
Wait,
Sabo,
6,000?
child.
997 3/4 inch tungsten steel balls coming out of one shell.
At what's the speed?
6,280 feet per second.
What?
I could take it.
Like that's, but the first
Again, reiterate how many?
997 3/4 inch tungsten steel balls.
At what speed?
6,280 feet per second.
Brandon, how fast does a bullet travel?
5.56. You're looking at like just over 3,000.
Like it's
And that's out of like a
Doubling
16
the speed of a good rifle round.
Like it's insane. And when it drops out though, the whole front end
Ball
just
bearings,
drops. You like all the weight is in the nose where all the BBs are, all the balls are. You flip that bitch onto the breech, shove it in, and arm it and get it out of the goddamn way because it's gonna recoil like a son of a when she fires.
The cool thing that I'm hearing about is when I say
you're just level.
when I say cool thing,
though.
the coolest death destruction thing is that they're now doing airburst rounds where so trench warfare is so hot right now, right?
Just like in 1914. It's crazy.
I would love to see how much of this podcast makes the internet. All of it. Because, dear God, like the amount of whatever you're at in this video, just know that there's 20 minutes of missing redacted footage. We legally cannot show you. Because holy fuck.
This is the good. Put that in the intro.
They're now creating basically. So people are like, why are they switching? The Bradley shoots 25 mil. So why are they switching to 30 mil?
I asked you this question. Go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
This is fascinating to me too.
Yeah.
I learned this recently. The reason is because 25 mil you can't do airburst with, but 30 mil you can actually. It's large enough. The round is big enough that you can program it to explode at a certain detonate at a certain point.
Why can't you do that with 25?
It's just not big enough to put
tech.
basically there is like a chip in the round that lets it explode at, you type into the, your laser rangefinder.
You can't do like just a longer or like thicker Projo?
25 mil can't do it. That's what Northrop Grumman told me. I asked the same thing. I was like, what gives? But they said
that was in the official work memo.
What gives?
What gives?
That's the reply.
This is the best podcast I've ever been on, man. Fuck.
This is going to be the what's that fucking war game? That I kept leaking military secrets.
War Thunder.
War Thunder,
yes.
Yeah, this is the War Thunder podcast. I think we've talked about that before.
Unfortunately.
So
when did China and America become teams? No.
So
first they said
to a podcast is number 2 in the country, but not, where's your DOD subpoena?
Somebody from China is going to watch this and be like, we're not going to team up. And then we start talking about future weapons like, fuck, we should probably team up.
We control everything. What the fuck? Dude, those weapon systems are absolutely insane.
So the 30 mil.
So basically, let's say you see an enemy trench 300 meters away. You're in a Bradley. You put your cannon, basically the remote control weapon system, onto it, and you press a button, and it tells you that's 200 meters away. The technology then programs the round, the 30 mil, which is large enough to have this tech in it, to explode at that distance. So you're firing rounds over that trench, and it's blowing up and sending shrapnel into the inside of the trench. So that's the big reason why we're trying to push to 30 mil.
Because it's cutting fuses to the length to detonate at that point, right?
Right. Yeah, I feel like you'd probably understand this better than me.
Well, I thought like we built like this is like OG Call of Duty level shit, but like the XM25 I thought was what we. Like,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's literally why they were doing that.
Did you guys
to do airburst?
Did you see at not at SHOT Show, but at AUSA they're making a new one. It's now
really.
Yeah, they made it.
That
you see it?
Yes. It's a 30 millimeter high explosive,
is it
accurate.
30?
It's 30. Shoulder fire grenade launcher.
I know what we're talking about.
Oh my god, I saw it. I don't even know if it's worth a damn, but it looks so cool.
Yes.
It looks like a scar, like it shoots grenades. It's so fucking cool.
I know the new shirt, militistic.
Oh, dude, it's so militistic.
Oh my god, can I shield that? Oh my god.
Can I shield that?
Just soldiers in line.
Patriotism. Yeah, it looks. Oh man, I'm gonna pull up a picture.
I forget who made it, but it's. I mean, it looks like a rifle, but it essentially has
Barrett.
like it shoots. Yeah,
isn't it Barrett? Or the company that owns.
I think
Barrett,
you're right. I think you're right. I think it's Barrett, but it's basically like an XM25 without all the unnecessary.
Let's cut to a wide and show them like, eagerly typing in
there.
Their
it is.
phone.
That's it, right? That's it.
I know.
SSRS 30 millimeter.
That's it. That is 100% it.
30 millimeter.
What the?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a video on it.
We got the same
I'm
picture.
gonna do
So I was
it.
right. Oh, it's,
Yes.
I'm so confused.
I'll put the video soon.
Did you show Cody what that looks like? It looks.
Have you seen that?
it looks like almost an AA-12
No.
with a
Send
scar.
that to
Yeah,
me so I
yeah.
can put it up for
Right.
chat.
Okay, I got you.
It's like a small grenade launcher.
30 millimeter well,
It looks like a 12 gauge that's fat.
technically, any 50 cal
And
is
it's empty.
anti-material. However, 30 millimeter grenades are.
Who makes that?
That's Barrett or the parent company anyway.
I think it's only 5-round magazine, though. I didn't read too much on it.
Maybe 10.
Cool as fuck.
I mean, but a
And
magazine
I bet you could put all kinds of different rounds in it. Like, it doesn't have to be
Yeah,
explosive.
there's like 7 rounds sitting in front of it.
You
Excuse
could put
me, Barrett is
non-lethal.
asking me if I'm over 18 years of age, so I can bid on this rifle.
How much is it?
No, this is definitely not like civilian. No civilian can get this.
Oh, you don't have the licensing for explosives? Oh, come on. Have you guys found the explosives guy? on
I thought this
Instagram?
was America.
So the funny part is like, I've got all the licensing to be able to buy all this shit, but it's like the difference is whether or not they'll sell it to you.
That's fair. Yep.
Which, if you know a guy, but yeah, if they can legally sell it to you, they're gonna have to pass it by their boss.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the boss.
God bless
So we haven't
America.
even sold this to the government yet. Why the did you give it to some guy in Kentucky?
Check out this sweet YouTube video.
Did you see what he did with a Serbu?
Wait, I haven't seen this. I don't know if I've.
Kentucky. Ballistics.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Yeah, 50 million people have.
Oh, I was like, fuck. I don't know if I saw that one.
Kentucky ballistics. What happened?
No. Oh wait, you talk. Oh, put the jam a thumb in it. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was a slap.
That was a slap round with a 20 or a 50 cal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Serbu 50 cal.
Yeah.
Just jam a thumb in it. That's all you got to do.
He had a good time. And now he's fine. We love you.
I've seen him, but I've never like walked up and said hello.
Dude, he's one of the nicest people in the
I met Crispy, and it was a really awkward interaction between me and him. Like, it was like right at the end of range day. I was like, hey, what's up, man? Love your stuff. You shook his hand, and then like I stood there awkwardly, and he stood there, and then he talked to somebody else. I was like, yeah, I fucked this one up.
It was just an awkward interaction. You're like, we're going to get along so much.
I didn't have it. Dude, I don't know why. My brain was just like, you have forgotten everything now. You forgot. You don't even know your name. And and then he talked to somebody else. I was like, fuck this up. Yeah, that's fair. All right. I'm going to just fuck off. Yeah.
Crispy's great. I met him back before the pandemic in like 2018 with Patrick Baker. One of my, he hired me at TMP actually. One of my favorite people in existence. Really good dude. And we went out to Texas, and it was like one of my first shoots ever. Hung out with Crispy, hung out with Jack Mandeville.
Oh, Jack's good people. I love
Jack.
Had a great
all
time.
Good, very, very good friends of the podcast.
Yeah, good peeps.
I love Jack. Those dudes are super talented. You did
crazy smart. I was not prepared for that when I met Jack. Like he's
Jack is-
really
He's
fucking smart.
He's a history buff, dude.
Yeah, he is. We were
He's
talking about all
very-
sorts of.
Because he plays like the whole like, oh, I'm so dumb character, but you actually sit down and have a conversation with him, and you're like, oh, this guy's
Yeah, and he always has. He'll like talk about history in a way that you didn't think about it necessarily.
Yeah.
At least for me, like he'll talk about it, and I'm like, oh, I had not considered it that way.
It scares me when people like that, like they say a fact about history, and it's like, okay, well, everybody knew that, and he's like, yeah, but if you read the letters, it's like, oh, this guy dug deep.
because
I do not know how to read, so that is not fair. First of all, out of bounds.
He's actually talked about reading like his letters from his great grandparents or whoever.
Yeah, he's
served.
got familial letters, yeah.
And these are like Civil War letters.
No
and
shit.
He reads them, and it is insanity to hear how they talked back in the day. And then, how old was it? It was like 16 or 17, talking about like the marriage and everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just crazy the difference between the way people talked back then versus like nowadays. It's like, hey, out of toilet paper, please help.
Wow,
very
I was
simplistic.
thinking a different direction. I was thinking that they're like so articulate back then, and so when I hear or like read what they were trying to communicate back then, I'm like, why am I not able to articulate even?
Well, that's
Imagine
the thing.
our great grandkids reading our text messages like, yo, TLDR, not having a great time.
I don't know what any of the and a
dabbing.
gif, and then the gif of this.
And they're like, yo, bro, why were they so articulate back then? Why could they dab so well?
It's
Because it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I agree with you that it's only going to get worse. But like, I will also say that Americans in general, like humans in general, were very direct back then. Like we beat around the bush so much now that when you meet a culture that doesn't, like Koreans, which is really interesting because I went to like a Korean restaurant in Lawton and I was like, can I get an egg on this? The lady was like, no, and just walked away. My wife was like, that was fucking rude. I was like, no, that's Korean. Like that's just they're straight up like, this is what's going to happen and you're not going to change it.
My dearest Marion, fuck my life.
The commander has walked away today. We haven't seen him in 2 moons.
2 scores. So
Yeah.
scores,
And you're like,
They had days back then.
Their insults were so sick, too.
they were
It was like,
eloquent.
he is so mediocre.
It's the biggest burger.
No way.
It's also important to note that an American president, it was Andrew Jackson, had won over 100 pistol duels and like killed a guy on the White House lawn before. Yeah.
Did you not know about his duels?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know our homie just challenged people all the time. He's like, yo,
bro,
fuck it. Dude, if you want to be president in this day, dude, 28,
I think
homeboy comes and just shoots people.
Why not be a bad thing? You know.
I think he was the first president to ever be able to like step up and talk about his publicly recorded KD.
Like, yeah, dude, Andrew Jackson was a G.
I
Like,
didn't know I had
somebody
no
insulted
idea.
his wife at a White House party, and that's the dude he killed on the White House lawn. Like, they went and did a pistol duel. It's like, pistols right now. Let's fucking go. And went out there and just blasted old boy and then went inside and got shit-faced.
Debates become so much better when you get a public challenge them and then shoot them in front of
When you got slapped by the
nation.
glove in 1820, that was a big deal.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I want to say it was over 100. I'm just going from memory here. I want to say it was over 100 pistol duels he had won. And he'd been shot like 3 or 4 times, I want to say, during those pistol duels and just survived. It was like, I'm going to be president now. Fuck you. Yeah.
Dude, homies went hard back in the day. You're like, okay. Good.
Meanwhile, we have a president who can't walk upstairs.
It's a lot of stairs, Brendan. Don't be so cold.
I like this Shane Gillis where he like as soon as he's done talking, he turns into a Roomba.
I'm so. I
like that, man.
don't know about you guys, but like, in moments like that, I'm so glad for the deep state. I'm just so glad that we. No, wait. Can I say for a second? Can I talk for a second?
Fucking just let him cook.
I'm really happy. In moments like that, when there's no one at the helm, I'm glad that we have a deep state that can just take over and run this ship.
So you're telling me we should be voting for the CEO of Boeing?
Not Boeing, Raytheon.
They can't suicide all of us. Oh my god. This is it. Like every time I think we've peaked, it's just this is the one that's gonna get it. This is
It's going hard.
Brandon, I'm so glad when our president is asleep at the wheel. All I'm glad is that someone else can take over. Thank God we've created a system where we don't need a president. Because the thing I don't like about this podcast is when I talk, people, they are laughing at, I'm trying to talk. I'm just happy that we have a resiliency
my face
in this
hurts.
system. And I think we can all agree.
We'll call it a redundancy. We'll go with
thank
that.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
redundancy.
Yes. That's what my squad leader always used to call me, redundant. And I appreciate that.
Oh.
So even when Biden has his faults, we have General Milley at the helm.
Oh fuck.
Now, Sam, we get it. We understand. We are speaking the same language now.
Didn't he retire and get a job at Boeing or something like that? Or
That's weird.
That's Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, who was
God,
formerly
you are so read into this. That's what's my favorite part.
formerly Raytheon chair member, who is
imagine
now
that.
Secretary of Defense.
I wonder why we picked Raytheon's radar for the LTAMs. I wonder
And
why.
I think West Virginia has an issue with inbreeding.
Cody, close us out, beautiful. Go to the after show.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining the Unscribed podcast. I was joined about Eli Double Tap, habitual line crosser, Chris Cappy, with Task and Purpose, Brandon Herrera, myself, Donald Operator. You can join us on the after show on Patreon. Love you.
And then, Mr. Chris Cappy, where do we find you, you beautiful soul?
Guys, you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Cappy Army, also on YouTube at Task and Purpose. And thank you so much. I had so much more weird stuff to get into, but we have to go.
No, we got the after show. Getting the weird shit.
Oh,
we can go into weird.
Now we can get weird.
Now we got the weird shit, dog. Kisses, see you in like 1 second.